I don't really have much faith in that game anymore, though.
Last of Us?
Last of Us 2, given that
they're about to show it in 2 days, so...
Well, no, they're about to drip feed it in 2 days. What's gonna the press event is real stupid. But yeah, like, basically I feel that game's probably just gonna be all murder porn now, because the people that did most of the writing... The people that did most of the writing are gone.
Yeah.
And one of the ideas was, literally, what if the spores only affected females and their breasts exploded?
What?
That was one of the original concepts for The Last of Us 2. What did you walk into? What did you walk into? You walked into me needing to adjust my stream.
That honestly took me like 20 seconds to process there. To realize that what you were saying was not a joke, and because I think, oh god, wow, yeah, that's How would they retcon that from the first game? What the fuck? Is this where Kojima first went after leaving Konami?
I'm so happy that Kojima landed on his feet when he started his small-time indie company. Just pulling himself up by his bootstraps. You know, if he can do it, anyone can. Any of us can.
There, Control is on my wish list.
It's good. I'm here. Don't worry. I had to implement an actual mute button because I'm playing a visual novel on a stream to people, right? And what I usually do is when I'm in a podcast, I just press the little icon. But I'm playing the game full screen, so I can't do that. So I need to implement a mute button. Because, as demonstrated last night, the game can give you SADs, and that would be a weird thing to have happen on a stream.
I think I got a little sense of that. Things got a little quiet.
I was very subtle with if I had my air conditioner on, you would have definitely heard the mute. But I didn't have my air conditioner on for like the last half of the stream last night, so I just kind of like sneaked over and pressed the mute button, and wasn't talking for a few minutes. John, why are you spoiling this game for yourself?
I'm probably gonna stop soon. It's just been very nice. Like I just immediately put it on. I can put it on, and then like basically all of your streams so far, I've been working on RPG Maker.
Oh, okay. So you're not like 100% catching everything.
No, I've got about 2/3 of the streams, I think.
I got you.
So I don't really understand anything that's happening. I just laugh at jokes.
Oh, that's good. You laugh at all the funny tit stuff.
Hey, girl with big tits.
That's such a good. That moment is so incredible. It's not a moment I expected.
That was a genuine laugh when you went to the next line of dialogue after he said he wouldn't say it out loud to her face.
Because it just said it.
I laughed too a lot. I was just like, oh my god.
There was another one where with the same lady where, like, it's just a dialogue box and he's just narrating, and it's just like a pretty receptionist is sitting behind the desk. A pretty receptionist with big breasts is sitting behind the desk. Big breasts are sitting behind the desk. Big breasts.
There were like 6 more steps.
Yeah, there were like 6 or 7 more ways of reducing that sentence, and it just eventually just turns into huge breasts. Yeah, this is
children.
This is one of my favorite covers, actually. Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm probably gonna duck out soon and then wait like 4 months.
Yeah.
And then dive in.
People on the chat are saying they don't hear. People on the chat are saying they don't hear you, Polly.
Yeah, they do. Hello, chat. You can hear me because I am broadcasting.
Are you broadcasting? I just got the thing shut down.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the chat right now. I hear Polly. We hear you.
Okay, see?
We're all here.
Duh, Rhett. Fucking duh!
Well, why did two people say that? And why isn't chat showing up on this thing?
Because I was muted 2 minutes ago, you dumbass, and we were having a big fucking conversation about it. But for some reason, your dumbass brain missed that part of the conversation.
I love my co-hosts.
What's Date's voice actor? He sounds familiar.
He sounds like David Hayter.
He sounds like David Hayter, is what it is.
Yeah,
So
I don't remember his name.
But he's not David Hayter.
No, it's not David Hayter.
Okay, he does sound like David Hayter.
It does.
It's very good.
It's a lot. Because he has a lot of those repeat lines, too. Like, somebody will say something, and then he will repeat it. Okay. Looks like we got our good... Did Rhett mute himself out of spite?
What?
Heather
No.
says, for better or worse, I hear Polly.
Oh. Wow.
Dunked on!
Wow.
Good dunk.
That was... God damn.
That was on point.
That was on point. I gotta give you that one. I don't just casually let people come in and dunk on me in my own chat, but when it's that good, you kind of gotta stand back and let it happen.
Twitch is just being weird for me because instead of going to Polyhead, it's going to a video.
What?
So then I don't know. And then when I refreshed, it was like an archive, and then the chat started repeating, and I got real confused for a minute.
That is really weird. See, I just pop out the chat. I don't watch the stream. Oh shit! I have nothing to drink. I'll be right back.
I just finished my chicken broth, so I want more now.
Oh no, she getting the wine.
I do have wine. I thought I got really tipsy last time, so I was like, maybe I should. I don't know. Like, what's the word? Alternate. Last week was the time last time was the one where I just like, remember when I actually pissed off Polly at the end?
Yeah. I still can never figure. Oh, there it is. I don't understand why pop-out player is under settings. Like, why isn't it under the chat thing? Oh wait, actually no. I still don't know how to pop out chat.
Oh, I know what you got to do. Okay, you have the moderator control panel. Okay, so there's a thing at the bottom that says switch to non-mod view.
Oh my god, there it is. Thank you.
And then pop out. There you go. Yeah, that fucked me up earlier.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
They're trying to be more like Skype. You just got to add some extra steps in there.
Let's add like 3 new extra steps to literally everything. All right. Are we ready for a podcast?
Yeah. This is a weird delay. John? Oh, I think he went to get a drink too.
Oh, good. Good.
When you said you were gonna.
Good.
Yeah, I'm getting my broth. Give me a second.
Did he say he was getting his bra?
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard as well.
few he can borrow too.
So who's going to have the hottest take this week?
Who's going to have the hottest take this week? I don't know. We're pulling in our guests for the second segment, so whoever goes first. No, keep that in mind. John Thayer, you better be listening.
Did you get any emails?
I'm listening. Give me a sec.
Me neither.
I got no emails, so no emails.
Okay.
We want to interact with the Sockscast. Everybody, please, we want to interact. Hey, everybody, here's emails. We even did a fun bit. It was funny.
It was a super fun bit.
It was a super funny bit. Nobody really got angry.
Did you hear me just now be like, oh, I didn't want to get wine again because last time I really pissed you off?
Yeah. All right. John, did you catch the bit about our guest segment being second?
Yep.
Okay.
I heard everything.
All right. Let's make sure. I'm going to make sure my guest is on Skype.
I said broth.
All
I
right.
used to drink hot chocolate. I used to drink tea during the podcast, but then that's caffeine this late in the day makes me stay up too late.
And
So
then-
then I switched to hot chocolate, and then but now I think milk fucks me up, so I'm not drinking that. And
You're lactose intolerant.
so if I can't do, and then I was not doing any milk, and I ate extra spicy ghost pepper salsa, and that gave me problems. So
I
it's
wonder
like,
why.
If I can't have gluten, and I can't have milk, and I can't have spicy stuff, why the fuck am I alive?
This rant brought to you by the Sockscast, episode 102. How's it going, everybody? The Sockscast, brought to you as always by Moon Pies. Moon Pies, fuck Donald Trump.
I was gonna say moon pies. Drink them up, John.
Moon pies and salt. The reason to live. I can still have salt.
Should probably
Thank
not
the
eat
Lord.
just salt.
Too late. I'll do that. I got my seasoned salt. I got my little bouillon. I'll just like dip a little finger in there. Just tasty.
Don't
Drink-
you ever make a slurping sound on my podcast again. I don't ever want to hear that from you ever again, John Dyer.
Why, Polly?
No.
Does it make you uncomfortable?
It wasn't very orally pleasing. We'll say that.
She's just so incredibly turned on right now that she can't do the
yeah,
rest of the
can't be having
podcast.
that. Can't be having that during a podcast. To my immediate virtual right, he's Jesus Christ on ecstasy. It's Rhett.
Oh, I'm the one on the right.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah? How's it
I was
going?
kidding.
Okay. Hey, Rhett.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Do you like podcasts?
I don't like podcasts that aren't ours, basically, now.
Pretty much. Yeah, I only listen to one other one, and I think I just do that mostly out of, like, I like the personalities, but I don't think that their podcast is entertaining as they think it is.
Gee, I wonder which one.
I won't say. I will protect the innocent.
Well, I still listen to My Brother and Me.
I don't.
Surely that's not the... Oh, no.
No, I fell off all of the McElroy stuff. I'm just like, I think I just got to the point to where it was just like, oh, well, I don't ever have to wonder what the McElroys are doing. I just turn on my Twitter and they're being retweeted 24 fucking hours a day. So I don't ever have to listen to a podcast because everything has been clipped, GIFed, has been made into an audio snippet, and it's just right there in one convenient place, right there on TweetDeck.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a point where it felt like about half my media intake was McElroy for like a couple years, and that was a little much.
That's when you might need to step back a little bit.
So that's why I've stepped back to just MBMBM, Adventure Zone, Sawbones, and buying their comic books and watching Monster Factory.
Okay, I have two of those.
There you go.
Monster Factory is like once a month, so that's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. The Adventure Zone season's almost over. I haven't seen anybody tweeting about it. It's a little sad.
Wow, yeah, that kind of fucking fell off, didn't it?
Well, I mean, it finished, and then it kept going.
Oh,
It didn't keep going. It finished, and then they started a whole new world with different characters. They're doing a new story, and now that new story is almost done.
It's a whole.
I think it's just hard for people to get reinvested like that, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it's not like they just are dragging out the old property, though.
Yeah.
So, I respect it. Hey, Polly, do you want to hear more about the McElroys?
To my immediate virtual left, just because he's winning don't mean he's the lucky one. It's John Thayer.
I was thinking not orally pleasing, but oral. Never mind.
That's pretty good.
Wow, that's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Hi.
That was pretty solid, John.
Thank you.
Like, everybody, what's with everybody having good jokes? Like, usually it's only me. Like, I have to be the one that carries this entire podcast on my back, and now
you bring the good jokes, I bring the only good insights, and then Rhett.
Rhett's got a big dick.
Yeah, there you go. That was a joke. I'm not actually pretentious. Don't be silly.
No.
That's just a gag.
Just a funny little bit we have.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever thought that John Thayer is just really a pretentious asshole. Just completely up his own fucking ass all the time. Nobody thinks that.
Genre-defying iconoclast? Maybe.
Yeah.
But pretentious asshole? No.
Yeah.
Great friend, great family member, great everything, really. But yeah. But pretentious asshole? No.
No. Not a good podcast host. We're not going to go that far. But.
Very punctual, though.
Yeah. Extremely punctual. Can we just, like, is this that podcast we were talking about on the Manson cast? It was just literally dunk on John for 3 hours? Because I know that there's someone in our audience that would love that.
I'm not
Is that someone specific? Is that someone specific? It feels like most people enjoy that.
Someone specific, for the 100th episode was very, like, dunk on Thayer more.
Who's my enemy? I forget.
You don't remember the Dawn email we got?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Dawn 1991, I think.
That was the one. Okay.
Every single time he writes in for Christmas, he's like, does a John joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot that.
Hello, members of the Sockscast, and John.
And John.
You did that on the stream last night. You're like, they keep coming in, Ballas. Oh, look, John's here.
Yeah. I wasn't even like... I just kind of rolled into that bit and so naturally it felt weird because it wasn't I'm thinking about it. It was just like, oh, hey, it's John. Hey, hi, John. So it sounds like you're ready for a podcast.
I'm ready for a podcast.
Well, all right then. Why don't you do a thing?
Games.
Do a thing where like you're on a podcast and then you talk about something.
Good. I wanted to go first.
All right, you do that.
Oh boy.
Love fucking hearing myself talk.
Skype is fucking up. Oh boy.
Oh, Skype is rebelling.
Oh boy, Skype is rebelling.
What?
Guys, I'm gonna have to restart Skype.
Okay.
Really? Oh my god.
Edit point.
This is when we start clapping.
Everybody clap a lot. I'm sorry about this, folks. Sometimes Skype is really stupid. The program itself sometimes just completely shits the bed and dies in ways that are kind of miraculous sometimes. So I have to kill it entirely. This is the hardest crash I've seen in a while because I didn't have any actual control over messaging, which that makes, I need to have a guest on for the next segment. Kind of hard to do that if you can't message them. All right. Now, let's try this again. Yo, I got it, Skype. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, baby boo. Now let me make sure that it remembered my audio settings. There we go. It didn't. Of course it didn't. Why would it? That would be stupid. That would be a stupid thing for a program to do. I'm just going to leave this in the goddamn recording. Who cares, right? Nobody actually listens to these after the fact, I don't think. So let's just go with that. And then let's go over here. Hey!
Hello?
I'm on a podcast with you. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
My microphone is not picking up any sound.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Oh my god. What is going on? What is happening? Hold on. Hello?
Hello? I hear
Okay.
you.
It reset the setting and I didn't even
my God.
I didn't even close the program that time. That was good.
So now you have to reset it for John, probably.
If I have to, I'm going to be very angry. Hello?
It's all well.
Is it?
Do you hear us?
I hear you.
Oh,
Okay,
right. Okay, you know what I'm
'Cause-
going to do? I'm going to pull our guest in, and I'm going to ask them to mute themselves for the first segment. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Oh, my God. Skype, please! Hold on.
Hold on.
Hello, guest! Oh, no. Oh, no! Come on. Please don't do this to me.
It's gonna be okay.
Hello?
Okay, guest, mute yourself until we're ready for you. If you want, you can just listen to the podcast here.
Perfect.
Perfect. All right.
I guess.
I hate computers. All
I
right.
have no idea what's happening.
All right. Chat can hear us.
Fine.
If chat can hear us, and Rhett can hear us, and John
I can hear you.
us.
I can hear everything. I can hear everything.
Okay,
Yep.
dances
Hey,
with the Woos.
Well, I am just like on the seat of my pants,
Hey, John!
ready to talk about shmups.
John, what did you do? I'm
well,
leaving
I
all
played-
that shit in, by the way. Fuck it. If the live audience has to suffer, so too must our archive.
You really
audience.
should edit that.
I really should.
Because you missed like the 10 minutes of me and John just kind of monologuing to each other
Mhm.
in silence when
That's true.
before we realized you had left.
And then Rhett closed the call, and I just went, and now I'm alone to nobody.
He looked
That's
in the
my-
mirror. And
I'm
didn't
glad I left this fork on this goddamn desk.
What?
It all comes fucking full circle.
See, only I get that reference.
Yep. Unless
Yep.
I put
It sure
at
wasn't me.
Unless I put it
No,
at the start
it
of
was
the
before
episode.
you joined the call.
Unless I
Polly
put-
was just like, check it out. I left a fork on the table, punch, and she just started dropping it.
Okay.
John.
We need to talk seriously now.
we
Are y'all
do.
ready to seriously talk about serious
I
things?
am. I don't know if Polly is.
I'm good.
I think Polly's just really enjoying that fork.
I love it. It's a good fork. It's a damn good fork.
This is so stupid. Anyway, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk.
Talk.
I've got
goddamn it.
a great shmup I want to talk to y'all about. But first, let's talk about Shikoku Kisetsukan.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know where
What?
this is going.
Oh no.
I'm going to put the title, I'm going to put a link in the chat, because this is a freeware game. It's actually on Steam as well. I'm going to link the Steam version, because I know y'all are all
Because everybody
about
gets pissy if it's not the Steam version.
that. Yeah. This is a freeware game. I played a bunch of it. It is very transparently a Toho riff, which is fine.
Yeah,
I
it's fine.
think. You can all take a gander at that at the trailer and whatnot. I think because it's freeware, that specifically kind of gives it a lot more license to just sort of rip stuff off.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we've never ripped anything off for,
at this point,
for a free game.
Yeah. At this point,
Exactly.
when people are selling their own Toho riffs, like having a free not Toho one is like whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, this is from 2015. Like I think I actually played this a while ago when it was new, and everyone's like, "Look, there's a free Toho." Kind of.
Yep, because this wasn't because at the time they didn't have all these Toho games on Steam, so this was like this was like the closest you could get.
Yeah.
I didn't really like this one very much. I played a lot of it.
You seemed
you
to
really
be enjoying it. Yeah, like you were giving it a go.
I had an arc with it. Where I played it on normal, the first route. It has this cute structure where you play. It's 5 stages. You play through 4 bosses, and then the final boss, you beat her, and then she possesses you, and then it's a bad end. And then you play 4 more routes where each of the preceding bosses are the main character, and they have their own custom stage against the main character from the first route, and then also they have their own final boss, and they play totally differently. Some of them in really cute ways. And then there's a big true end route where all of them come together to free the person that was possessed, and it's very nice. So it kind of played with storytelling and structure in an interesting way, even though that ultimately boiled down to playing the same, mostly the same game 6 times.
Right.
Which maybe wasn't great.
Not always pleasant. Kind of had that experience with Odin's Sphere, Life Vizier, even though all the characters were different. Like, just kind of playing through the same game essentially 6 times isn't the greatest feeling.
Like, I just wanted to get to the point where I could unlock the final route, and then I could start learning the 1cc of that, maybe on hard mode, because normal mode was very easy. I cleared that just on my first try. But then I get to the true end route, and it has a very, very gimmicky main character, just, like, unpleasantly so.
Oh, God, yeah, I saw the gimmick, and I literally barfed. I had to buy a new keyboard. I was watching John stream it, and he played that character, and I barfed all over my keyboard 17 times.
So what is this gimmick for those that didn't watch the stream?
He,
First of all, it's a male self-insert.
Okay, yeah, that's the big
Yeah,
thing,
you lost me at he.
Exactly, is that for some reason on the final true end route, you play as a self-insert of the dev who goes through and makes friends with all of the cute girls from throughout the game, and then they all join together at the end to save the main girl.
See, this is the game people would accuse Rhett of trying to make.
It's a little bit silly. It's not as bad as it could be. They're not like all falling over themselves to like fuck him or something.
Yeah,
the way you described it, it sounded like a harem anime for a bit.
No, but
also kind of maybe.
It's close enough to that.
You play as Tenchi Muyo.
He's literally Dev. His name is Dev, and he has like.
Oh, fuck off!
Yeah.
Okay.
It's.
Oh, come on, Devin Townsend is called Dev all the time.
It is transparent. It is literally a fourth wall break self-insert.
Yeah, it is.
Like very literally. And his character gimmick is that he drags the computer behind him on a tether, and then sucks bullets from the top of the screen towards the computer. And those bullets are what damage characters. So it's not even, it's reverse bullets, where instead of firing to the top of the screen, they come from the top of the screen to your character. Except not even directly to your character, to this tether that you have to manipulate and move around.
Yeah, it's like those.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's like those items in Binding of Isaac where they kind of drag behind you instead of something that's immediately on your character. It's hard to fucking deal with.
And this isn't a precision bullet that'll shoot up.
It's not fucking with the bullets that enemies fire. It's just its own stream of...
It's just its own stream of bullets. It's not actually that different from it just being normal bullets, but, it's different enough.
It's different enough that the point of origin of your fire being different from where your character is at is really disorienting, and it's hard to pull that off and make it fun.
Yeah.
See, I thought it would be funny if you were absorbing the Danmaku patterns and fucking with them.
No.
Because you know how in a big spirals, there's all those bullets that go off the top of the screen.
What if we did something with those?
Yeah, it's not that clever.
No. My favorite character is probably the one that only can fire her bullets up to about halfway up the screen, but they deal a lot more damage than any of the others. So you have to get up in the boss's faces. Except that sometimes you just can't do that, and then you just wait out the timer.
There's a big character like that. You really gotta test everything.
There's there's more than one character where it feels like most of the fights come down to you have to time it out because there's no way to apply enough damage to actually clear a spell card.
All of them feel just piddly with their damage. Everything's a big bullet sponge.
Yeah.
I was playing on hard and just kind of had Paul was my only audience. And I was just kind of starting to realize, wait a minute, this is a little bad.
This is, I could just kind of feel, just the arc of that stream was John, he wasn't in the best of spirits with this game yet. It was kind of already, the new car smell was already starting to wear off. You could tell, but then, when he, as that stream went on, you could just see it spiraling downward. It's one of those, it's one of those, I wish he had a webcam. Because I bet I could have seen it in his eye. I could see him dying slowly.
And I was just doing the first route because I didn't care about learning the shitty character, so I was just trying to beat the first route on hard. And the big difference, another big thing, is that you don't get your bombs back when you die. They are separate they are separate counter. Like in some of it's different. Toho handles it differently. Like I'm trying to think of the difference between like how Subterranean Animism handles it and Imperishable Night, but they do it differently in some way. But even if you have 0 bombs, you get at least like 2 back when you die.
Yeah.
In UFO or Subterranean Animism, and that lets you know one spell card is going to destroy your run.
Right.
Because you can always just kind of fudge it through with a death and a couple bombs. In this, you die, and because you don't have any bombs, and then you die, and you immediately spawn back, and you still don't have any bombs, and then you die again.
Yeah, it's very prone to like getting into death cycles very easily.
So it winds up being like sort of like Toho 13, where it's mostly easy, but then very strict.
Oh no!
Like the way the bomb thing works, it almost feels like an oversight, but it's there and it's present enough that it's just like, no, that's the design decision.
And I don't get it.
I don't get it either. No, it just feels like you make a shmup harder by taking away the bombs or making them harder to use or harder to obtain. Like it feels like that's kind of the only idea behind that.
Whereas like when I made a shmup recently, and like 2 of the big things I changed like throughout the process was I made it so almost all the enemies died in 1 hit. That wasn't true at the start. Most of them took like 3 or 4 hits to kill, and it didn't feel as good.
Yeah.
And then I changed it to just 1 hit, and this feels better. It feels like my bullets do stuff. That's nice. And then I added more extra lives. I was just like, yeah, better. I'll be hard, but I'll add that forgivingness to it.
Yeah, like that game has got a
nice combo.
Yeah, like that's probably like the best difficulty curve any of your games have. I feel is that just like the way that it ramps and the way that like I feel that what it's asking me of every stage is very fair.
Cool. Yeah, and then making a couple changes just to make certain parts nicer.
Right. Welcome to the John Thayer's great portion of the Sockscast.
Of course, I've got to fit those in every time. I'm just saying, I just made a shmup, and I was thinking about this stuff, and I came to a different conclusion.
Yeah. He dunks on this other free shmup to promote his free shmup. I see.
We see what's going on now. We love you, John.
Of course, and I love myself. And
of course.
Don't worry, he's got enough for himself.
Yeah.
No, I'll take more love too. I'll eat. I eat it up. Don't worry. So those are the big things there. The bombs being bad. The true end route having a weird self.
At least good.
The bombs themselves. No,
not really.
They have a nice they do the Imperishable Night thing where they give you a bigger bomb window after you die, which I like. It's variable depending on how much bomb you have. It's a meter up to 200%, so that kind of feels bad because the timing window changes based on a stat you're not paying attention to. So it's kind of like Dark Souls 2 with the roll, as I understand it.
Yeah,
this is the worst ever. So I was thinking that Toho 13, the one where you die and go back to a checkpoint, has kind of a similar system where those bombs, you've got to make them count. Because if you bomb on a spell card and then get past it, and then that's your new checkpoint,
Yeah.
You've got, kind of 5 to work with through the whole game.
Oh, you mean, Toho 15.
15.
That one's so much. Yeah. I just tried never to bomb on that one, because I was just like,
because I realized quickly,
precious.
Those are extremely precious. If you get to Clown Piece with no bombs, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is what this game basically seems to sound like it's doing.
Well, no, it's I think Toho 13 is the better comparison point, because it's mostly easy, very strict. Oh, with the bombs, I get you.
I'm just fascinated by this bomb system, because it sounds like it could work if they were really good.
Well, that's the thing, is that you only can have up to 2 bombs at a time.
Yeah, so they have to be just end this boss immediately, basically.
No, they're not that. They're really not that.
They should have been. Okay, I'll stop going on about the bombs.
Yeah. No, I get it. I don't like them.
Rhett talking
bombs are
about
bad.
bombs. How many of Rhett's shmups have ever had bombs? Oh, wait, 0.
I mean, there's the super power up in Super Zelixer.
There you go.
It's not
The
a
laser-
bomb! It's not a bomb!
I
My
just
games
got
have infinite lives, so.
Oh wow, that was really convincing. All right. Bomb system bad. Trend route starring a self-insert dude, making friends with all the cute girls, and then saving the lead girl. Not great.
No.
And then also the bullet patterns are mostly boring.
Yeah,
mostly,
they're just a lot of
like
radials, spirals, and rings.
Yeah, and then a lot of them where you have to wait out the timer, and you don't deal enough damage. And you have to play the game 6 times to get the main ending. I don't really like it very much now. I was like, I was pretty high on it at first, and then because it basically feels good at first, but then you just kind of realize like this is a little bad.
Yeah, I think when I downloaded it in 2015, I played the first route and was like, this was cute. Not going to play more, but it was cute.
Yeah, it makes a nice first impression because it does something with the storytelling, which is kind of cool. But yeah, not my biggest shmup win. My biggest shmup win is that I played a bunch of this game called Zero Ranger.
This is a game where I was just like, I should not be watching this stream anymore because I want to play this game. This game is wow.
Oh,
I was really worried because I was just streaming this extremely good shmup. And the standards are different here because this is a commercial game.
it's $12 whole dollars.
I know, right?
I was like, geez, John, Mr. Moneybags over here.
This is also a 9-year-long passion project, so it's very.
Oh my god, really?
It is extremely comparable with Reflex specifically.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
Like
it has that very same tempo and feel.
Yeah. And that was my number 2 last year on my list. I really like Reflex. And I really like this game.
And this game, oh my god, this game gives.
I kind of like it more.
This game gives me happy feelings in my pants. Just like, oh my god, it's.
So yeah, I streamed.
So what is Zero Ranger?
Zero Ranger is a shmup.
But what?
The palette. It has a simple 2 green-orange palette. It's arcade style shmup. Yeah, right.
The Steam page, it literally says bullet points. 8 distinct colors, including green and orange in all caps.
You have a bunch of cool weapons that you collect throughout the game. You start off with just a forward-firing one, and then you get a choice between a back-firing one and a side-firing one, and then you get a choice between a charge shot that also blocks bullets as you're charging it, and deals contact damage as you're charging it, but then the big shot deals a lot of damage, or a missiles attacks that go into the background like Ray Force.
Yep.
And then the last choice is between sword and drill.
They're so
And
good.
They feel real good. I actually haven't tried drill yet. I'm pretty excited.
Just like watching you use sword was amazing. Just the shit that it does.
So it has very good weapons. It's extremely varied. Like every second, it's throwing like a new set piece at you, and it is not afraid to like involve the environment in the set pieces in ways that vertical shmups tend to not do. It definitely is not just like you feel a lot of R-Type in it. In addition to, it's not just cave. I like cave. It's not like.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very direct R-Type reference.
Yeah. There are 2 direct R-Type and Gradius references. There's also some Contra references.
That makes me like this sounds like the Contra of shmups.
It's very that, and it's also more than that.
See, just making me happier.
Because it goes real hard with the storytelling in ways that Polysaw Stage 3 does something really, really cool.
Yes!
When you get the sword. Or the drill.
Yeah, man.
And that's Stage 3 of 4, sort of.
Yeah, like there's. It sounds like there's more to this game.
full length.
It sounds like
stages
there's
here.
more to this game than originally. Than you originally thought or relayed to me.
Yes.
That's
it says
good.
4 stages on the thing. It does some fuckery.
I am down for the fuckery.
I'm here for that, yeah.
I'm down for fuckery.
Basically, just keep playing, even if you're not sure. There's a couple points where it's like, wait, was that the end? Wait, oh, it's one of those. I compared it. I said, like, if you like Contra, or Undertale, or Nier, give this a shot.
If you just put all those 3 of those things together in one thing.
So I wasn't just trying to zero in on Poly there. That was really like everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I was getting. And
Yeah.
Reflex. It's doing a lot of the Reflex stuff.
And I fucking love Reflex.
Yeah, Reflex is really good. So I'm not gonna talk about it any more than that. I want to get some reaction. I want y'all to have like fresh.
Yeah,
experiences.
like I am probably gonna grab
wanna
this
know,
soon.
yeah.
I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
grab this soon because it's too. There's too much here that I saw and was just like I know I need this in my veins. Like this is speaking to me on a level that is just real good right now. And yeah, like this sounds like the next destined to be Sockscast approved indie darling.
So give it a look. I didn't fully complete the game. Just to say, it has an off ramp. Just for the record. And I'm kind of satisfied with that for now. And then when I'll go back to it later and really kind of learn it deep, and then do that full completion. It was still a very satisfying end point, so
That's
I don't feel
awesome.
bad about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is it. As much as I completely love it right now, if I did go back and really try to learn it deep, it would even reward that.
That's
So-
cool as shit. That
Cool.
So it's real good.
awesome.
I was completely surprised. I did not expect it to go as far as it was. I just looked at it, I was like on the itch page. I was like, oh, this is pretty. Oh, I
Yeah,
this
like
vibe.
it's a game that had a striking look, and I'd seen a couple other people on my following list buy it, and I just kind of like look at the page, and I would just be like, okay, I'll take note of that. It looks okay. Yeah, but then you see it in action, and it's totally just fucking bonkers.
Yeah. You clipped me out of that Twitch stream. It was a good clip.
Yeah, that was a real damn good clip.
So I really love this game. It's going on my list at the end of the year. I'm probably going to play it a good chunk more. This is like this will probably be like the biggest surprise of the year for me, is just how much this game kind of blew me away. So that's Zero Ranger.
Awesome. Well,
I think we have a special guest.
we got a guest, and if they'd be so kind,
John, are you the host?
if they would be so kind as to unmute themselves.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome aboard. Welcome
Hello there.
Welcome to the Sockscast. SocksMakePeopleSexy.net friend pal. Freezing Inferno. How's it going? Are you ready to be on a goddamn podcast?
Yeah, sure. It's
Been a
great.
while. Been a while since you've done one of these. You've been around this configuration of people.
I'm sorry. I've got the chat open, and I just see all of a sudden John Thayer Raw pops up.
Jonathan is... Look, it's a very
that is-
raw moment.
That
Oh
is 2
god.
letters away from being very scandalous.
Oh god.
2 additional letters. Oh, Heather says, "Row, row, fight the power." There's an explicit Gurren Lagann reference in there as well.
This game
As
is
soon
not...
as you said drill, I was like, why did you not take the drill?
Yeah, like this game is not hiding its influences at all.
I'll spoil this one joke. They have like the little Radiant Silvergun boss things before each thing,
Yeah.
and one of the tips is: number 1, do the impossible. Number 2, touch the untouchable.
So was this made over 9 years for real?
Yes.
Yeah, you can go on shmups.org, the Big Shmup forum, and it's a forum thread, and it starts in
Wow.
2009 and ends in 2018 with the game getting released.
Oh wait, Gurren Lagann's older than that, Jesus.
God.
Haha, you're old.
So welcome, esteemed
Hi,
guest. since
You better too. Not
see,
just
like,
Raven.
we're all old, and like the things that we do, like
Hey!
we tend to be 8 years behind the curve when it comes to anything on the gaming format. But I notice that sometimes in our community there are people out there that indulge in things that may be a little more new, and it also, hey, like, maybe we also know something about this one. So I understand you did something for like the last 82 hours and nonstop.
I wouldn't say that much.
It was
but,
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. I spent the weekend playing that new Link's Awakening remake.
Oh, do tell. Share with us. You want some?
Well, the biggest striking thing about it is it's very pretty.
Obviously,
Like,
yeah.
my God, this game is just oozing with charm. I don't like squeal really loudly at you that often, but this game and its presentation are just so beautiful.
Like, it's like little plastic toys. Everything is a little plastic toy, and it's just cute, and like the level of detail that they have put into these little diorama pieces, and just the way that they have that nice plastic shine on them. And
it's beautiful. Like some of those dungeons.
yes.
Whoa. Looks amazing.
Yeah, it's got charm
definitely
at that.
really breathes a lot of life into the game and gives it its own little sort of distinct. Well, what's the word I'm looking for here?
So you're saying it took a bullshitty black and white game and made a good game?
It sounds like it's doing a lot more to elevate the original game than like the Pokemon Let's Go or like Link Between Worlds aesthetics did.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, Let's Go is nice, but it's just it's a nice little 3D game. This has its own art style, its own uniqueness, its own sort of ethos, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of good things to like about it. There's some quality of life improvements, of course. I mean, you don't really have to swap around because you've got
Oh my god.
like Pegasus boots are on the L button, and then the shields on the R button. There's something else I think you can do.
There's a dedicated sword button, I think.
Oh yeah, dedicated sword button. You just V to the sword. And well, I basically just kept the feather on Y and just like, okay, I'm jumping all over, because you always jump over the place when you're playing that game anyway.
Yeah, like there's no point in taking that item off.
Yeah. There's still a little bit of swapping, like you'll come to some place and it'll be like, oh, I need the bombs now, or I need the hook shots. Well, let's just pull it on here. But it's not like, oh yeah, the power bracelet is just automatic now.
I was about to ask about that one. That one drove me nuts when I played the original. Just literally every time you touch a rock, looks like you might be able to lift this or whatever it says.
Yeah.
Have that in there anymore. You can actually like examine it with the A button before you have it, and it says that, but it's not automatic when you touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I really like the original, but the amount of item switching, which is understandable given the Game Boy.
Yeah, like
and
given
buttons.
what they were cramming into 2 buttons and a D-pad,
Yeah.
Like that game is still really good, okay?
Oh
Yeah.
The core is good. It was good enough to get this remake like a quarter of a century later. And of course, it has to be said that it has the easiest Zelda minigame ever made, the trendy game.
Oh god, I have seen. There's been no
Why
shortage.
is everybody posting the crane game?
Yeah, like what? How is this
like
the
15
thing? That,
people.
what is it with this? Like, explain to me the crane game and why this is the thing that seems to have caught on.
I don't know. I don't find it hard at all.
Like, it's just that is the thing. Like, I tuned in, the first thing I saw when I tuned into Eric streaming it was fucking crane game. I was like, what is going why is this the thing people are playing?
Literally, like, I go in there, I gotta get the Yoshi doll. So I try, and I mess up, but it was my first time doing it. Like, oh, okay, now I understand how the rhythm of the whole crane goes, how far these things. And I got it second try. And I haven't taken more than 2 tries to get anything on that crane game.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy crane game, it looks like.
And yet, like, half of the Zelda content on Twitter and YouTube and whatnot that I've seen over the past weekend has been people going like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, Yeah, like
Okay.
it's by far the weirdest thing that like of all of the great fun things that I've seen about this game, like they're like holding the girl up and them keeping that same fucking joke and like
Oh my god.
being
Oh, yeah.
still self-aware enough that stuff still lands now and keeping it like that's like is this your chance? Like they kept it.
This is your big chance. Yeah, it's
It
pretty
sort, of
verbatim.
it sort of draws into focus just how like forward-thinking that original game was. Like it, I mean, I'm watching a bunch of this content, just like, boy, Link's Awakening sort of feels like a contemporary, fun, cute indie game, doesn't it?
In a way.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That I can feel that. And I also got to say, the sound design is absolutely on point. Keeping in mind with the cuteness of the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get the Pegasus boots, now it just does a little,
The little like
adorable little pitter patter.
yeah, the pitter patter is great.
It just sounds like somebody ham boning.
Like Nintendo has like that cute aesthetic fucking nailed down now. Like from all of the Kirby shit that they've done over the years and like the Yoshi stuff, I feel that they've kind of got a handle on how to make things just saccharine and goddamn disgustingly cute.
There was another hilarious one I clipped. When you give the guy the pineapple on the mountain,
Mm-hmm.
and all you hear is pineapple eating noises. Just it's literally all you. It's just like. Da, 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 da.
So good. That shit's so good.
It's so good.
Are you having trouble with the frame rate stuff? I've heard.
Oh yeah, I noticed a couple of drops here and there. Oddly enough, I didn't really notice them once I got past like the midpoint of the game.
It sounds like it's just when transitions are happening.
Yeah, I did notice that. I went underwater, like in one of those side-scrolling parts, and it kind of slowed a bit. That's one I noticed. There were a couple other places.
No, Fresno, honey, Fresno. When you go underwater, you're slower, dear. Did you not know that? You sweet little child.
Oh, I'm thank you. Now I know. I've learned something today.
See, coming here today.
In the way as opposed to just air. When you're moving above water, there's just air in the way. But when you're underwater, there's water that's thicker.
That's wild. Another fun quality of life improvement is that there's seashells hidden in the game, right?
I remember seashells. I remember those.
Seashells, you can get the stuff. But the second upgrade you get for finding, I want to say like 15 or 20, I think 20, is a little sensor, and it dings whenever you're near a seashell. And that's really great for just going around and trying to find the things. It doesn't tell you like how to get it. You're just there, and you're like, okay, now I have to figure this out. It could be, oh, there's this conspicuous piece of ground surrounded by bushes. I should dig here. Or here's a tree. I should bounce it with the Pegasus boots.
Yeah, like I think that like sensors like that are fun, and they can make you. They can kind of encourage you to explore if you're not the type to explore. Like I know that Minoria had one too, and like when I got it, I just never unequipped it. So like I know that I ended up searching that game way more than I probably would have.
And you can turn it off if you want to be like a hardcore purist. Where I just wish that you got it earlier. Like the 10 seashell reward is just a heart piece.
That's bad balancing there.
A little, yeah. If they gave it to you earlier, that might incentivize you more to like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like that's kind of something.
I found a couple by exploring. Now I can find more.
I would make a sensor like that something you find early game if I had like a collectible that was going to be spread throughout the entire game like that. Like
I guess, yeah, that's good. I mean, once you get the sword, it's kind of not way like the final reward is just a piece for the dungeon maker.
Oh boy, that fun thing.
Which we should talk about the dungeon maker because it's set of new content. It's fine, I guess.
I mean, I know that most people would want like let's be real. A Zelda dungeon maker would probably be fucking rad as hell, but that's not what you're getting here.
Well,
this is like the most basic form of that they could present.
It's a lot more fun building the dungeons than it is playing through them. I'll put it like that.
No.
Like, you have to do the guy's challenges to get 100% because he's got one of the bottles and a couple of heart pieces in a heart container.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up just doing all this at the end of the game because as you beat dungeons, you unlock more pieces. So I thought, well, it makes sense for me to do all the dungeons first. That way I'll have more pieces to build with. But when you do that, then all of a sudden you're overpowered as shit and you just walk through all these dungeons.
Right.
So it's actually kind of boring just sitting there doing 12 of these things in a row, just going through the same dungeon. They do try to add a couple little challenges. Like one of them is beat the dungeon with 3 hearts, beat it in 5 minutes. Little things like that.
Right.
Not super like enthralling.
Yeah. The building is the most fun though, because all the pieces, they've got the exits here and there, and you really gotta like puzzle your way to getting them. And some pieces are required, like you gotta put a staircase here, you gotta put a locked door here, put a chest here, stuff like that. So
Is the color done? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like a Tetrominoes puzzle almost. You gotta fit all the pieces together with what you've got. It's neat. You were saying?
Is the color dungeon in it?
The color dungeon is in it.
Nice.
And you can
Okay.
put some pieces in the dungeon maker from the color dungeon.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool, actually.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, so you can get the blue mail and just like
If you're a coward,
There you go. If you're a coward, you always go
I had
red.
the game.
always go red.
Red.
Game on lock. Anyway, like there's bottles in this game now. 3 bottles, and
That's an addition.
I think the only use for them is actually catching fairies. So between like 20 hearts and 3 fairies and the medicine that revives you, like you can basically be untouchable.
Yeah.
In the Zelda game? What?
What? I haven't actually tried a hero mode yet. I'm saving that for later in the week.
Is that
probably-
unlocked at the start of the game?
Yeah,
or-
so I'm not. Yeah, you can do it.
Oh, it is. I was
Good,
about
it's
to jump
rare.
on Nintendo again.
Yeah. So we could actually start with hero mode if we wanted.
Yeah, I just started on normal. Just.
Yeah, I get you. Not shaming you.
The dungeon maker is okay. Getting. I think if you wanted to get all the like chamber stones, that would be a thing because the shop sells them for like 1,200 rupees a pop. So it's just like, oh boy, time to play the Rapids race 6 times in
Oh
a row.
man, yeah.
Well, I say that, but as I was doing them to get the heart container and all that, some of there's another thing you can get where like you can add effects to a room, and one of them is raining rupees down. So it like rains 300 rupees down in this room.
That's cool.
So it's pretty good in that respect.
Is one of them a ringing phone?
Yes, one of them is a ringing phone. Yeah, someone's got that. Don't worry about it.
I know, it's funny. I love things like that. Don't worry.
It's the hitman. He's calling. He's trying to tell you what to do.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Shit.
Oh
So
god.
I asked you and Tom this, and both of you said, "I don't know. I didn't die." Do you see the Marin portrait, the new Marin portrait they have in the ending, no matter what, or is that only if you won?
I honestly have no idea. I didn't die because
Because that's different.
yeah.
Because you don't see Marin in the ending unless you beat it in one life in the original. So
Yeah.
that's important. It's just good to be aware of.
I mean, it's probably the case because it does go the end and then fades out, and then the end fades, and then you see Marin and all that. So
Mhm.
it probably could.
Okay.
But yeah, Link's Awakening is really, really cute and fun. I just don't know if it was worth 92 Canadian dollars.
That's a lot of Canadian dollars.
Yeah, 80 in tax. That's how much new AAA video games cost up here.
See, like, I misinterpreted this game's announcement when it was first announced, and I thought it was a 3DS game.
Oh boy.
And then I saw, wait, this is a full-priced Switch game? $60? Like,
$60.
I'm not gonna be that person that tries to tell you, hey, like, I'm gonna tell you what your game is worth. I'm not gonna be that person. But when it's Nintendo, I'm gonna be
there's
that
a big
person.
butt there.
I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
be that person when it's Nintendo, and it's like, look, I obviously the value is what you get out of it, but I just don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if Link's Awakening is a game that you're gonna get $60 of value out of.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I loved I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I don't think it was worth that much. I mean, we are talking about essentially a very, very pretty and kind of streamlined Game Boy game from 1993.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have bought 5 Zero Rangers for that.
Yeah. There you go.
Sorry.
I think I paid $6 for Link's Awakening DS on the 3DS eShop. Yeah, I think I paid nothing for it because I got it from Club Nintendo.
Oh,
Jeez.
nice.
Yeah, that's how I have it on the 3DS. I have a card of it here too, which I also think was just given to me. So this might be the first time I've actually paid for Link's Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And I made up for it.
Yeah. They definitely got their money's worth out of you at the end.
Oh yeah, well I can get another replay out of it on Hero at least.
Yeah,
so,
like, it definitely sounds
And then
like
you could
it's...
sell it to GameStop.
Yeah.
I literally bought it. I bought
it digital, so I'm up shit creek there, Ed.
I ordered a used Nintendo game, so naturally it was like $45, and I was just like, you know, I can just beat this and then throw it back on Amazon and make all my money back. I was just like, okay, I'll justify this purchase to myself with like that.
Oh my god.
Knowing that you'll never go through with that plan because you're lazy.
Oh, that's the curse.
That happened to me. I bought that new Yoshi game. I guess it was this year, and I was like, "Oh, I should probably sell this back now." And then I didn't.
Yeah.
I looked at the GameStop price, and it was already like $20.
$20,
Like,
yeah.
fuck?
That game
It's all-
fucking bombed.
Almighty. No, but I did like it though. For all that.
That's good.
I
Like,
mean,
at least you still came
It's going to
away.
be a personal case by case thing if you feel like you want to spend the money on a really pretty Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen a lot of bitching about the price specifically because it is a remake. Like, it's not a new experience. Like, that kind of makes it sting a little more.
That's not really why I don't feel that it's a $60 game. It's just, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, well, price and all that is subjective.
Exactly.
Different people get value out of it. I got some value out of it. And what really touched me on, well, this is in the original, I suppose, to be fair, is the notion that a dream is real and meaningful if you remember it.
Yeah.
Which,
That's a good way to look at it.
Which is the theme of a game that I loved the hell out of a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I have one question for y'all though. I have a question that I want to ask Frez and I'm also both of you. Whoa, what happened? Sound got weird.
It's okay.
Alright,
Yeah.
cool. So I just wanted to ask, how do y'all feel about Link's Awakening?
I like it.
I like Link's Awakening a lot.
Okay.
I think it's one of the better Zelda games.
Okay.
It was definitely on one of my Game of the Year lists on this podcast.
Yeah.
I played it pretty recently for the first time.
Oh, nice.
Like, I played the original
Is that one
Zelda.
of mine, too?
Yeah, I played the original Zelda and was like, this is a cute game. I could make a game like this. And then I played Link's Awakening right afterwards. It was like, Jesus. Like, the quality jump was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Just thinking, like, oh, it's going to be this cute basic Game Boy game. And then, like, the dungeon design is so good in that game.
Yeah. Just top to bottom. I really should have finished that fucking Let's Play.
Oh, gosh.
I was thinking about that. As soon as Fresno said she sells, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a gag about that, and like Carmichael even went and saved my save file.
And then, right, that's what
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
I still got those videos on my channel though. We might be able to pick that back up someday.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm happy to guest.
All right.
So I just kind of had this. I've been kind of bouncing back a little forth with it just for a little while now.
Oh, you have to be a contrarian now?
Oh.
No, I'm just pointing out a couple things. Is that when they made the leap from the NES games to Link to the Past, there were a couple things, couple bits of the appeal that were lost in the transition. Is that fair to say?
I don't necessarily agree, because I don't think Link's 2 is very good.
Hey, I'm a Zelda 2 booster. So.
I don't think you're gonna find many people who agree on that, John.
Really? The NES, just that they're harder. They're kind of
Right.
weirder and more weirder and.
I mean, I don't
loose
think like
some ways.
I've seen people play Zelda 3 and still get lost in the same ways.
Okay. That's fair. I definitely got lost in it a bunch as a kid.
Well, don't make dumbass statements that don't even match your experience.
Isn't the map in Link's Awakening actually twice as big as the original game?
It's pretty big.
But it seems smaller because, I don't know, this is the way it...
Game Boy screen, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that it's smaller in pixel size, but not necessarily in terms of, like...
I think in terms of screens, it's actually, like, twice as tall.
Yeah.
I think there's an essential appeal that the two NES games have that isn't present in the SNES, in Link to the Past and Link's Awakening. And they make up for it in a ton of other ways, obviously.
Right.
But I think there is a line there. And I think sometimes I'll play Link to the Past and Link's Awakening and be a little bit like, oh, it'll be a little sad.
I haven't really revisited the NES games in a while.
Right.
I mean, I will say I think the first game is really non-linear, isn't it? Like
yeah,
you can
it's really non-linear.
I think that's maybe what you're kind of thinking of like
yeah,
the later games. I guess
Zelda 3 is pretty damn non-linear.
Yeah, I guess it is actually.
Yeah, Link to the but Link's Awakening in particular is just like the light world section of Link to the Past stretched out for the whole game.
Yeah.
So that's why it feels even more so kind of in Link's Awakening.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know. It's like
if you want that mystery back, you should try Breath of the Wild.
I just like think of
I didn't know if he was growling or farting there.
That was a sigh. So it's like I think that to me there's like the 6 kind of core Zeldas, and it's the NES games, then Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, then the 2 N64 games, and like the N64 games have this kind of grinding quality to them. They're much longer and like kind of more taxing to me in a lot of ways, whereas the Link to the Past, Link Awakening are a lot more snappy. And they have a lot of that early N64 energy where they're creating these weird 3D environments. So they have their own kind of weirdness to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Where to me, I'm coming at these games now, Link to the Past and Link's Awakening sort of seem like the least interesting of the really good Zelda games to me. Where I kind of like find the most instructiveness out of the NES games and the N64 games, and then those two kind of sit in a weird middle ground for me.
I see that. I think that is a fair way of looking at it.
Yeah, I like Rhett's read a lot. I complained about Link's Awakening not being very like, we did Link to the Past again. We did Link to the Past Dungeons again.
Yeah.
And that not jiving with it being like a dream and all that. But then I really liked Rhett's reading, where he was just like, it's supposed to feel like this like warm, good, lived-in place that you like and care about.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that makes sense to me again. So.
And I mean, that's only accentuated now, I feel, by just how adorable the remake is.
Yeah, like I feel you connect a lot easier with the remake, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was my journey, just kind of thinking about Link's Awakening again. It's still not as good as For the Frog and Meltables, but it's good.
Cool. Well, Fresno, I appreciate you taking the time to stop by and give us the heads up on this game. I know a lot of people are out there and genuinely curious about it, knew you were playing it, and I'm glad you took the time to give us the what's up about it.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Where can our fine internet friends find you if they want to keep up with anything you be doing?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at FreezingInferno. I talk about a whole bunch of nonsense, and I'll probably link my blog there. I've got a link there anyway. I'm going to be doing an October Halloween marathon pretty soon.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, there you go. And hey, we'll probably talk to you again at some point in the future, given that we're doing these things a little more now. So we hope you enjoy hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will catch you next time.
All right. Good talking to you.
Right.
Have a good time with the rest of the show. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Who's next?
Red, I think.
Red.
Or it could be Polly.
Well, we voted for you.
Yeah, I guess I've overruled. What have I been up to?
What you been up to?
Oh, I finished Xenoblade like a day after the last podcast.
Wait. What?
I knew I was close. I didn't actually quite realize how close I was.
You liar.
So there's a funny thing about the ending of Xenoblade, is that no one ever talks about it.
No.
Yeah, well, literally nobody's ever seen it.
So, you know the game Getting Over It, I think, with Bennett Foddy?
Yeah?
There's a secret at the end of that game that nobody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Xenoblade has the same energy.
You feel like it's got a really well-kept secret.
I feel like the ending of that game makes you part of a secret club where you've seen the ending now and you understand you can never talk about it to anybody. So the secret must be kept forever.
Right? And now you are a bearer of said secret.
Yeah. And it's like members can't even like communicate with each other. It's just this, you're in the secret club that will never speak of Xenoblade again. So I'm a big anime fan.
Of course.
I like things that go hard.
Right.
Xenoblade goes real hard.
It really does. Like, I've seen people stream the end of this game, and it's absolutely nuts.
How dare they stream this? That is not meant for public consumption.
Oh, it's fun, but it's the only way I would have ever experienced, because I hate engaging with the gameplay of that game.
The combat in that game is something special for sure. I played as the mage girl Melia for like the last half of the game.
Wow.
Because I just found her the easiest to use. Like, hey, you guys go do your damage and tanking stuff. I'll just cast heal once in a while. That game's actually really hard. Like, I had to figure out how to play as her as damage and healing.
Right.
Oh god, there's one boss, like, right before the point of no return, the final one of the bosses has spike damage on him, so
I know. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so because I'm playing as the mage, I didn't realize that for like half an hour. I'm just like, why are these fuckers dying in like 30 seconds? And then I realized, like, oh, every time Shulk swings that sword, he's taking damage
literally
back.
Killing himself.
Yeah, so I swapped him out with Sharla, the girl with the gun.
Guns.
Who doesn't apparently take spike damage because she's hitting from a damage,
right,
or from a range. And then just immediately won the next try. It was like, okay, cool. I was able to swap this character I hadn't used for like 30 hours. But yeah, the ending of that game is very anime, and it goes so hard, and it's just like... I felt like maybe it trivialized the whole rest of the game a bit.
Yeah, it's like it's so much bigger in scope than where it starts.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, what was the whole point of this, the whole rest of the game, when you go this nuts right in the last hour, basically?
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous. I had a good time. The music's really good in that game, especially the boss music and stuff.
That game and XC2 have fucking-tastic soundtracks.
So speaking of XC2,
mm-hmm.
Guess what I have arriving on Tuesday?
Oh my god, yeah.
There was a sale at Best Buy, and I was like, okay.
Why not? Like, I think that, like, I've seen enough people play that game to know that it's, like, really, really good. And I know it's not for me, but I know that game is really good.
I'm just a little worried about getting burnt out because I just played
I think that this game, I think that XC2 and its systems, its abundance of systems.
Oh boy.
It's way smarter, and I think that battles involve a lot more thinking and strategy than XC1. So I think that'll actually help you enjoy that game a little more, and on the, like, not the same. I don't think that the combat is functionally the same. It's the same kind of battle system, but I feel that, like, the things that they've added to it make it more interesting to engage with, and make the encounters less of just, I'm on this really boring one note rotation of backslash side slash backslash side slash.
I had to stop playing as Shulk because it was so fucking boring.
Yeah, and like the way the blade system works, both in terms of stats, and other things like that. Like, I obviously like I think. Yeah.
That's cool. I did notice one thing I thought about Xenoblade was that random encounters with enemies are hard in this game. Like, nothing is ever trivial, really.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I felt in Trails of the Sky, like, a lot of the kind of trash mobs you could kind of just mash attack or like your strongest art real quick and then win in a couple turns. Where everything in Xenoblade is like this whole thing of like this fight lasting a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And then if you screw up and you get some other enemies wandering nearby and they join the fight, then you're really in trouble. So it's good and bad. It's like random battles in RPGs always tend to be a little on the easy side, I think, or at least in Final Fantasy. Like, I haven't played Persona. I'm sure Persona can fuck you up real good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But like this is one of the few I've played where you could kind of never let your guard down unless you were like 5 levels above them or something.
Yeah.
So that's a good game. I played about half of it this year and then half of it like in 2013. So it's weird kind of contextualizing the whole thing in my head.
It's really been a chronicle.
It really has.
Like, we've really chronicled your journey through this game at various points.
I wonder how many other podcasts, because I went back to it at least once a year the whole time.
Yeah.
I would play like one area and then be like, okay, like I'd hit a natural stopping point and immediately put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I had to be ready because the whole McManus part is like 3 or 4 maps in a row of just pure combat with very little story, and I just pushed through all of it. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, like the way you barrage through the last part of that game.
It's kind of the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think what I had this time was I truly realized, fuck all the side content.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I think that's honestly how I talked about this last time, where everything involving Colony 6, fuck it.
Garbage. Just get it out of here.
Which is hilarious because you end up back at Colony 6 at the end of the game, and they're like, this is going to be our base from now on. And I'm just like, we're standing in like an empty rock field.
We're standing in an empty field. There are craters full of toxic goo.
I never upgraded it once because I couldn't. I tried.
See, Iffy in chat says that's how she got through XC2 was no side quest. Most of them are real boring fetch quests, so you'll be fine.
I heard you have to take Mithra cooking a lot. Is that like the one?
Some of the skill grinding stuff definitely sounds a little.
I thought you said there was one specific point with like a cooking skill blocking the main.
Yeah, I remember
plot.
that. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I gotta watch out for that stuff like that. So, you ready for a podcast within a podcast?
Yo, let's do it.
It's the weekly Sympho Gear check-in.
Oh, shit, here we go. If I had it, I would dub in the Sympho Gear sound theme right here.
Sure you would.
But I'm lazy.
I watched Sympho Gear Season 4. It's better than 3. That's the tagline.
Boom! 4. It's better than 3. It's not only the bigger number, but it's also true in terms of quality.
Yeah. Sympho Gear Season 4 is very structurally similar to the third one. Uh-huh. They just kind of do everything better, really. And the budget is just... The animation and the fights are just way better. And then it goes ridiculously hard for like the last 4 episodes.
If you haven't noticed, that is a thing we really, really like on this podcast, is when things go real big, stupid, and hard.
That's kind of been my whole thing for a long time.
Yeah, it's just something that I've noticed in this episode in particular, though, is that it's come across, and it's going to continue to.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, playing games and then getting to the end, and it's like, well, didn't quite do what we wanted it to. Like, we're at saying Bayonetta 2 going, well, it was 11 out of 10 for the whole game, and then 9 out of 10 for the end.
Especially compared to Bayonetta 1, which...
It handled that a little better. It handled its dynamic range better.
Yeah.
Matthew Matosa specifically called out Bayonetta 2's ending as anticlimactic in his new thing.
It's crazy.
So
I don't want to. You go listen to that episode. Basically, I can't get back into.
Just letting you know, other people have had that experience.
Oh yeah, I saw a lot of people bitching about it because I looked up stuff afterwards. But basically, Sympho Gear Season 3 is kind of that same thing where it's like, oh, you have a very kind of perfunctual 2-episode final boss fight at the end, and then it wraps up very cleanly. Sympho Gear Season 4, they start the final boss battle in, like, episode 10 of 13.
Oh.
And then you're just like, well, how is this going to last, like, 3.5 episodes? And then a lot happens, and they go really hard.
They make that work?
they make it work. That it goes through a lot of phases and emotions and things happen.
How many times did you cry?
Oh my god. At least once, I think. I think what. So my problem with the show, kind of now post season 1, is that season 1 has by far the most character development because it's introducing everyone for the first time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do in season 1 is only introduce the villain like at the very end, like episode 10 or 11. Mm-hmm. So it gives the characters lots of room to breathe, and there's kind of no room to breathe in any of the other seasons, where they're splitting time with the villains, and there's just like a fight every episode, and there's just like none of the kind of chill out school stuff anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So the show does tend to be a lot of noise, like, and the villains are also called the Noise that they summon. And like, again, I don't know why they are still using the same kind of generic enemy putty thing 4 seasons in, because they have never been threatening. They're just there to kind of die in one hit to the girls, and then have the villain be like, "Oh yeah, well here's 200 of them.
Here's more."
Yeah, like they literally do that so much. It's just
they did that in the first season finale of, and now here's 1,000 of them. Just like, oh, okay.
It's just letting the main characters flex and pull out a sword the size of a truck or something.
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
It's a bit much.
It can be a bit
it's
much.
It's a bit much 4 seasons in, yeah.
It probably is, but I think that there's an absurdity to that I like.
Yeah. But when the show is going really hard, though, and they do absurdity in other ways, like having Hibiki fight a tank.
Why not? Why not, man?
And just having her...
With punching.
Oh, yeah, she punches. She punches tank shells out of the air.
Yeah!
Because she's really quick, apparently, now. Like, stupid shit like that is just, way more fun than, oh, here's the putties again.
She played Shatterhand on NES and learned all the best lessons.
So I'm very looking forward to season 5 of that show, which I don't know if that's the last one. It's going to end next week, too. I've timed this perfectly.
Jesus.
Then I'll start watching it again.
Yeah, so I understand that John, doesn't really binge media that much.
No.
He takes it kind of slow and paces it out naturally.
Very reasonable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't watch any other anime because once I finished this, I was just like, I just want to watch Simple Gear. Whereas after season 3, I was like, kind of burnt out. I'll watch something else.
It's okay. I didn't watch Attack on Titan season 3 yet, so.
Oh yeah,
our other little chronicle. So Polly, you didn't watch Attack on Titan season 3.
Nope.
What have you been up to?
I've been putting together a piece of this podcast for one listener specifically.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a faithful listener out there. Goes by the name of Psychic Heist. Recently just joined the forums, said hello. Turns out the one person in the world that likes the part of the podcast that nobody else does. So now this little neglected part of the podcast now has an audience, and it can be served. It's not completely pointless. Everybody in stream chat, feel free to go to sleep. Get your blankies out. I know, it's okay.
What time is it, Polly?
It's time for Polly's shitty music taste corner. Where we talk about new albums that I've listened to that nobody gives a shit about.
Excellent.
So, follow up to a previous album of the year. Released a few weeks ago by Miss Chelsea Wolfe. She released a new album called Birth of Violence, and it is an acoustic follow-up to the more textured and layered and just very dark, dripping with loads of sadness and malice and all of that fun stuff. She follows it up with what is essentially kind of just a dark but very bright and shiny acoustic album.
Huh.
And it's an album that, like, it had a really good first impression. Like, I think that a lot of the material on it is really good. You start with The Mother Road, American Darkness, Birth of Violence, Deranged for Rock and Roll, Be All Things, Air Day. Like, that run of 6 tracks is super good. And I think that even on repeat listens, they're still super good. And then the album kind of like, because Be All Things, Air Day, and when Anger Turns to Honey, those songs kind of all have a very similar vibe. The middle part of this album starts to get a little nondescript because she has a very consistent style of to her playing and to how these songs are arranged. So they end up sounding very samey, very low tempo, very croony, very airy, a lot of reverb. Her voice is great, I love it and everything, but I think that like that's kind of like the album's starting to show weakness here in terms of structure. Then you hit Dirt Universe, which is a great track. Little Grave kind of loses me, and then Preface to a Dream Play is a great closer if it was the closer.
Oh no.
And then it ends with Highway, which is a song that I just don't like. It just doesn't click with me at all. All in all, like, just along with the fact that I think I prefer hearing her do the bigger, more lavishly produced, textured, layered, darker, more down-tuned things. Just kind of along with that and along with the fact that I think a lot, just kind of like, there's just some stuff on this album that isn't very exciting. It's still good. It's still good material, but it just does not click with me in the same way that her two previous albums have, and like those are fucking albums of the year. So
Yeah.
Coming into this, it's just like, I guess that's a lot of pressure to kind of live up to when you've been somebody's album of the year twice. So yeah,
I get that.
Birth of Violence, it's okay. Like I don't hate it. Like I'll probably still listen to it. I don't know if this album's gonna be on my end of the year list.
You listen to so much stuff, it probably kind of, I don't think it'll hang, honestly.
Yeah, like there's like just been such another good glut of really good content this year that like this one might have to go to the 11 slot or something like that.
The very crowded 11 slot.
The very crowded 11 spot, which we'll be doing something about this year, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
There's a preview. We'll be doing it for both end of the year casts, by the way. So.
Oh, geez.
There's a massive spoiler for some end of the year content that.
Spoiling it even for us, apparently.
Yeah. Even you two didn't know what I'm planning. So.
Yeah, I've listened through Abyss, and what was the one before that?
The one before that is Pain is Beauty.
Yeah, Pain is Beauty. I've listened through Abyss and Pain is Beauty a whole bunch, and I love them a lot.
Yeah.
So this is
John. You need to listen to.
Why have you not listened to His Spun?
I listened through His Spun once, and I was like, that was okay, and then I didn't like engage with it.
Man, like His Spun is
That's
that
the best
album.
one.
That album literally floored me when I first finished it. Like I felt like someone had brought a fucking steamroller into my room and rolled me onto the floor. Like that's how much that album whacked me the first time I heard it.
I have that happen sometimes. Like when I listened to Disintegration like 5 years ago, I was like, that was okay. And then I listened to it again like recently. I was just like, oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe His Spun is just waiting for that moment.
His Spun is waiting for me to be ready for it.
Right.
I swear, when Polly tweeted about the album of the year, that came out, like the podcast, I just wrote like, my album of the year was number 1, H, number 2, I, number 3, S. I just spelled out His Spun. And then I listened to the podcast and it was yours and Taylor's number 1. I was like, fucking justified.
Yeah. It's like that album, like it's just like that album is an experience. It was an experience for me hearing it the first time, so it's just and it's stuck too, which is important.
Awesome.
Like I like my album of the year lists are always albums that like these got to have staying power for me. And I don't know that this album's gonna have that, just because there's so much good shit this year.
And this just being a very low key album.
Yeah, it's low key in the sense, like it's. I'm not going to diminish her work on it at all, and I honestly believe that this is the album she wanted to make. It's just not what I'm really wanted to hear after.
Yeah,
Again, his spun left a huge impression. Like, that's just, like, it's hard for me to not put it against that ultimately right now. I'm not so far divorced from his spun that I can do that right now. Mm-hmm. Even though it's been 2 years.
It sounds like it's the album she needed to make.
Yes.
Which I think is cool.
Yeah, and knowing what his spun is about, and the darkness that album is about, this is the album she probably needed to make for herself. And I fully support that.
Cool.
And you can hear that in a lot of these songs. So yeah. Chelsea Wolfe, Birth of Violence. I think it's good, but I don't think it's great. But an album that I do think is great is from a very underground, weird rapper named JPEG Mafia. I don't know if anybody...
Yeah, I've heard you talking about this one.
And it's called All My Heroes Are Cornballs. And it is his album that is a follow-up to what I thought on the Album of the Year podcast last year was like, oh, he's finally made the album he wants to make with Veteran, which was the album he released last year. And then we get to this album, and it's oh, he just took what he did on Veteran and brought it up like 55 more levels. He's literally kind of created the album that he wanted to make now. And like hearing him talk about this album, like this is the album that he has been the most proud of for the longest time and not shared because he's wanted to put it, like to make sure all the pieces to it were in place. And cool. I think that he's achieved that. So JPEG Mafia has got a very abrasive production style. His beats are not what you hear in typical hip hop. There's a lot of just like things just are always falling apart in JPEG Mafia world. Like song structures are all over the place. They are falling off the track, at all times. As a rapper, like he is a guy that can spit bars, but a lot of the time he doesn't really feel the need to. He can throw off very simple lines and make them work, and a lot of the time it's just the intent of what he's trying to say means more than just like having to say it in a very technical manner, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense to me. And
I think that like he also injected a lot of melody into this album as well. It's unusually singy, and not what I was expecting at all. And like, yeah, he's not unabashed about his use of auto-tune either. And the thing is, it's like he uses it, but he's using it in a way that I feel actually works with his production style. So it's just like, yeah, like auto-tune makes your voice sound terrible and robot-y and fucks with it in ways that aren't natural, but his production style is not natural and it's very weird sounding and it's not what you hear in the mainstream either. So I think that like the way that he mixes those elements works really well. So it's like very melodic in a way that none of his previous work has been. And I think a lot of people might see that as being a sellout, but I think it's more of just like he's continuing to refine what it is to be, quote-unquote, a JPEG Mafia beat, I guess. Which is funny, because that's one of the tracks on this album is called JPEG Mafia Type Beat, and it's just a bunch of loudness and screaming. And that's because a lot of people often accuse him of being an MC Ride ripoff from Death Grips. So I think that that's kind of where the tongue-in-cheekiness of JPEG Mafia Type Beat comes from. It's just him growling and yelling a lot. And hey, of course, he's always on point with track titles. I mean, his last album had the great I Cannot Fucking Wait Until Morrissey Dies, which that's a great song title. And we all agree. This album's got Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought, Beta Male Strategies,
extremely good.
Grimy Waifu.
What?
Grimy Waifu.
What the fuck?
Thought Tactics. Post-Verified Lifestyle. And one of my personal favorites, Basic Bitch Tear Gas. So yeah, JPEG Mafia is on fucking point with track titles, as always. But the thing about this album and the way I describe it to people is that I don't think it's so much a hip-hop album as it is a shitpost. It is a shitpost in album form, but it's incredibly engaging. It's fantastically produced. It's really fucking smart, and it's substantial. So, like, yeah, like, there's all of this weirdness and shit around it, but, like, his lyrics are also very smart and substantial and engaging, and, like, so it all comes together in a way that, like, Veteran came together, and I felt like maybe at the end of the day that album was missing something, and I think that this album has it. So I really think that he's finally... Like, in the same way that I think that Denzel Curry, that was my album of the year last year, Denzel Curry's Taboo. In the same way that he created the album, I felt that he had been waiting his entire career to kind of finally have all the pieces come together to create. I feel that JPEG Mafia has finally been able to do that with All My Heroes Are Cornballs.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, like, I think that even if you don't listen to hip-hop, this album is worth a listen. Even if, like, there's rap on it, obviously, but I think that just from a sound standpoint and the production, there's so much interesting shit going on with how he composes and puts things together, and it's so all over the place, yet it's all kind of still tied together and flows really well track to track to track. Like, it's like an 18-track, like, 40-minute album or something. It's 45 minutes, 17 seconds. And, like, whereas Veteran, I felt like it was more of a 40-minute sound collage where, like, you couldn't take one moment and isolate it and it be, like, a song you present by itself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this album has many moments like that now where you could, like I could play Grimy Waifu and that is a song. Like, I can play Free the Frail. That is a song. Like things are more song structured, but he did that without sacrificing the things that make him unique. So yeah,
that's really cool.
So yeah, JPEG Mafia, All My Heroes Are Cornballs. I'm just loving the shit out of this album right now. So
I'm listening to Grimy Waifu right now.
It's really good.
I can't believe this is a real song though. Just hearing him say waifu.
Dude, like, there are a lot of rappers that make really fun anime references these days. Rappers are younger these days, Rhett. They're influenced more by...
Are you saying we're old?
Yes, I'm saying we're old. Yeah.
Don't a number of rappers get started on Vine recently? Like, or at least like a couple
SoundCloud.
Like, big successes.
SoundCloud is really where a lot of the stuff
That's
started
right,
taking off. And, like, yeah... So, yeah.
Or like there are a couple meme tracks that started
on
Vine.
yeah. Like,
and then those got big from there.
Like artists...
Like that's sort of the definition of like the youth culture at least like 4 years ago.
Yeah, like all of the quote-unquote Lils and Youngs you've probably heard of came from SoundCloud. Like, that's kind of like where that's from. So yeah. Go open your heart to JPEG Mafia, please. It's a really good album. And one last other little thing I did was there's a game that I have been trying so hard to get into for years. Like, ever since it originally entered my library, this is a game where it was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play it, and 3 hours later, god damn it, I can't.
Wait, did you not finish it?
Happens every fucking time I play it, except this time. I finally finished one playthrough of Ys Origin.
Oh my god.
I've been trying to open my heart to this game for years. I finished it as Unica this time, which I think is like kind of the optimal way to play it the first time. If you're used to Ys. Like, you know.
Are there 3 like very different routes, or is it one game with 3 different characters?
It's one game with 3 different characters, and there's some different bosses along the way. Some of the bosses get changed out, so you like, and the narrative changes. So it is like there are things that are different about each route, but you're still doing the thing that I don't like about this game, and that I don't want to be in the tower. I don't want to be in Darm Tower. It's boring.
Is
sorry.
it literally Darm Tower?
It's just yes, it's Darm Tower. It's and it's just like, okay, like you finished the first world, now go to the water world, now go to the fire world, now go to the desert world.
Water world is definitely where I tapped out.
Like I don't think that this game is bad. Like this is another case of it just ain't for me. I appreciate everything it does for East lore. I appreciate I appreciate the fact that the boss design, like they kind of, I feel that the reason they had to move on to a new engine is because they reached the limits of what they could do with boss design with this camera system and engine, because some of the bosses kind of feel bad at times. Hello, Pictomos. I fucking hate you. But yeah, like I finished it once at least. I can say I did that. I still think it's a good game. I just don't think that I'm never gonna finish the Toll or other dude.
Do you have to beat it once to unlock the third route?
Yeah. The Toll and Fact routes. I'm probably not gonna play those, but yeah, the game has Epona. She is a great character. I like her a lot. She's not really like a great character because she's not really there. She's more of a lackey. I just think she's hot and I want to fuck her.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Is it spelled like Epona from
Zelda? Yeah,
Zelda?
it's spelled like Epona from Zelda.
Okay, well now I can Google her real quick. Ys origin.
She's real good. She's real good.
Oh,
That's
right.
what I'm doing too.
The whip lady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that.
She's good. She's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
everyone just judging, just like yeah.
yeah, I'm getting a lot of judgment here. I can definitely feel the
No, not judging you, just like appraising Epona.
Appraising Epona. But at least Epona gave us the moment in After Five's chat where he was playing the game on Nightmare and he was literally going insane trying to beat Epona, and he just put on the Epona theme from Zelda instead of the actual game's music and fought her that way for 30 to 45 minutes.
Oh boy.
It was a thing. We were all kind of nuts by the end of that stream. But it was a real good moment in After Five history.
Excellent. So is this, how long is each route? Just kind of generally?
It's about 8 hours apiece.
That's
So
not bad.
it's generally pretty fast. The tower's only 20 floors.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
and it's not and it's also one of those games where you kind of have to get every upgrade. So if you're not doing you exploring, and you're going to get stonewalled at the bosses. Like that happened to me with one of the bosses where I was doing 4 or 5 damage, and it was like, oh no. So I had to go back.
I missed something.
I had to go back I think it was 2 fucking stratums to find the fucking thing that I missed.
Jeez.
And it was like, oh, okay, now you're doing 40. I'm like, oh, good, you're very east. Because, you can't, you have to find all of the items to upgrade your equipment and shit. Like, you can't just buy the upgrades.
This sounds like very distilled ease.
Oh,
energy.
yeah, it very is.
It's just
East
yeah.
experience.
It is
just
it is the East experience of 1 and 2 brought into that era of East.
Specifically like that final dungeon.
Yes, very, very specifically. So yeah, East Origin, it's a great game. It's just I'm not gonna play that 3 times.
I might. I'm really excited for this one.
The lore is really good. The lore is surprisingly good for East.
Cool.
So yeah, the story and stuff, that's top notch. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just not the game for me. That's fine.
There's 2 separate Falcom games I played this year that have big old dungeons. One big old dungeon you have to get through.
Yep.
Like the one in Ys 8.
Yeah.
And both times I was just like, oh, I just love this. Oh, this is just, I love
this. This is just lovely.
This is just lovely.
You if you love Falcom's big, spacious space mazes.
I love big fucking space mazes, yeah.
Yeah, that, you're gonna love Falcom going forward, because, man, they go hard on those things.
Yeah, I was thinking a little bit of maybe jumping to E7, but I think I am going to go into this one.
Cool.
I own it. I own E7. I think I own all of them, but Chelchetta.
Nice.
Chelchetta.
I-
Chelchetta.
Chel-
Chelchetta.
Chelchetta.
Caruchetta.
Chelchetta, shells and cheese. Yeah.
Nailed it.
That's that video game.
Chelsea, it's Chelsea's favorite. Chelsea loves Chelchetta.
Yeah. No, she likes Origin a lot. All right, how about a 5-minute break?
Yes, I've had to piss for like an hour.
All right, we will be right back.
listening to the music you're playing on the channel.
Oh yeah?
I had no idea you jammed out during the breaks.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, because I just keep it muted.
Oh, yeah, we always play some tunes during the break.
That's cool.
Or else it would just be a boring ass BRB on the screen. Don't you know how to stream?
I don't.
Okay, I'll let it slide. This is once. Do you know what that was?
What?
Do you know what the tunes were?
Nope.
Okay.
I didn't recognize any of them.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. Gotcha. Yep.
I'm back.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. John Thayer's back. Can you believe it? Can you believe John Thayer's back? Then over here, I'm sitting
All
down.
waiting with bated breath.
Just-
When will the light come back to our podcast and to our lives? Never fear. I've returned.
Mm,
And I have grapes and
That's-
wine.
great. Yeah. That time John Thayer came to my podcast. And,
Yeah, I made it way better with my amazing glowing presence.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Yep. That was exactly what I was going to say.
I've been like, my self-esteem's been just great this week. I've just been like in a good place. It's been nice.
Nobody cares.
No, yeah, doesn't matter.
No.
I'm self-affirming. Just
Yeah, I have to be the one to let
Bring me
you
back
know,
down.
to let you know that guess what? Nobody gives a fuck.
mm,
Shove it up your ass. We don't care.
everyone.
You got
Everyone-
happiness. You got happiness. Good for you. Good for you. Good for fucking you.
I try not to lord it over people. Just
Oh no, never. No, that's not you. That's not you.
No. But then I hope that some of my glow just sort of transfers and brightens up other people as well. So that's why
Oh,
I try
that
to
never
try to
happened.
share.
That never happened. It's the most repelling light I've ever fucking seen.
It's like vomit colored.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like, I don't know how he did it, but he literally made vomit colored light. Somehow managed to be the most repulsive person on earth.
So, speaking of how great I am and how interesting the things I have to say are,
Right.
Uh-huh.
I have very little else to talk about, but I do have one thing.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Oh boy.
I finished Romancing Saga 2.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about throwing up, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good transition. Good. That's
So
a good segue.
I told Rhett. Rhett said replays are supposed to be easy because I told him that it took me 3 months to beat Romancing Saga 2 again. This is
Yeah.
my second time through the game. And what I didn't... The context there is that it took me about 10 months to beat it the first time. So, like, I think I put Romancing Saga 2 on my Game of the Year list when I hadn't finished it. And then I finished it, like, in September or something the next year.
Right.
Oh.
So, it was a journey.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a big,
A chronicle?
This a chronicle, if you will.
yeah. So, this one I beat it again. I kind of chronicled it on Twitter, which I did last time. I just try to keep everyone abreast of my Romancing Saga 2 activities.
I mean, we're just on the edge of our seat.
Yeah. What was your arc there? Paying attention to my beautiful tweets.
Uh, well, my arc was what would happen. So I'd go over and I'd look and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, there's a John Thayer tweet." Then I'd press there's this button in TweetDeck. It's 3 dots, and I press that, and I get a drop-down menu that has a lot of options, and there's a button, and down in the
Wait.
third row, it's kind of broken up into categories, and in the third category, the first option is mute faraway Thayer. So that is the button that I pressed when I saw that happen. When those tweets started to befoul
Your timeline.
my timeline, that was my first option.
I feel like I got a lot of likes out, a lot of little responses, interactions from you involving those tweets.
I ain't fooling
not sure
anybody.
how
Nah,
that
you can't ruin the lore here.
Now, Rhett, what was your arc? with my saga journey.
My arc right now was thinking Polly was going to tell us a useful trick to mute an individual thread instead of the entire person.
Oh, don't worry, I wasn't threading him.
No, he wasn't, so it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, well,
He
still,
took my approach to Twitter.
Oh,
never
no, see,
never
you're all
fucking
bad at Twitter now.
never fucking thread anything.
But I looked, and it doesn't seem that mute this thread is an option on other people's threads. Anyways, it really seemed like you weren't going to be able to beat that final boss.
I did not think so. No.
I tried so hard. I did all the prep work that I thought I needed after beating the game once, and I still
You were so
got
cocky about like your speed up or whatever thing, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's the last generation, whatever that means, and then oh no, I'm losing to the final
Yeah.
boss.
That was my favorite part. Just that boost of confidence. That fucking John Thayer hubris.
Hubris, yeah.
Yeah, so last generation, in Romancing Saga 2, your characters, whenever a major story event happens, story event very loosely in the sense that these games have any story whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Whenever you beat a boss or something significant happens, it'll do a generation jump.
Right.
And then you jump to 100 years in the future, and you have a new emperor who's used inheritance magic to get all the knowledge and skills from the previous emperor. That's the hook that they set up in the very good beginning of the game. Is that you are one? Thank you, Polly. Is that you're one person?
Sorry.
Is that the seven heroes who saved the world but are now basically destroying it, basically like all doing very evil things throughout the world.
It's Phantasy Star 3.
It's different from Phantasy Star 3. The heroes are a threat that cannot be matched by just one person. Right. Not one party can handle this obstacle. They are an evil that has to be tackled over 1,000 years, mm-hmm. with a whole team like working in generations working in tandem. So the last generation happens after you've killed 5 heroes. The big thing that happens on a generation jump is that you have to recruit a new party mm-hmm. and set up all their skills in magic. It takes like 20 minutes.
Well, that's the good stuff. Like, we like piddling around in menus in RPGs. I mean, I cannot count the number of fucking hours I've probably spent in Trails menus. So,
oh boy, there you go.
Are these new characters like supposed to be descendants of the previous party?
Yes, you are a lineage of who are leading this empire, and they're in
because
yeah.
Given that it's Saga, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if it was just like, oh yeah, it's 100 years later. Here's some new random people because everything's random.
We got a janitor on this playthrough.
The big arcs are defeating the heroes and also adding new areas to your empire by doing quests. And when you get new areas to your empire, you get more money in your income. You have a certain amount of gold you get per battle that you complete, and then you have a certain income that is happening all the time, and then you can use those on public works projects like building a university, which gives you access to more magic, or building a barracks, or building this thing. It's a really legit cute kind of system.
Right.
I'm just picturing like Civilization and XCOM in my head now for some reason.
I mean, yeah, it's got a lot of that wrapped around the Saga game, which is a cute. It's the only one that has like, of the non-linear games, that has this like very clear through line. Like, you have to fight the 7 heroes. They're the first thing you see when you boot up the game. They're the final boss. The final boss is all 7 heroes at once. That's the boss.
Boy.
So it actually has a through line. It actually has like a conceit, which makes it, kind of a little more fun for me to engage with than like Saga Frontier. Is sort of my thinking. But yeah, your base stats only go up between generations. Is the big thing. And they get stronger depending on the number of battles you fight. But whatever you get stuck with on that last generation, that's it.
Oh wow!
So you want to grind on the one before that,
which is what I did, and my stats went up quite a lot on that last generation jump. You can still level up HP, MP, SP separately. That just happens by using skills, using magic, and randomly. But you can't level up your base stats. So you can fuck yourself. You also can't buy. You can also buy. When you run out of life points on a character, they lose a life point whenever they die, and then if they get hit after they're dead,
They lose another.
They'll lose another one. In Saga Frontier, when that happens, you just go to an inn, even if they're at 0 LP. You can't revive them on your own if they're at 0 LP, but you can go to an inn and then it'll go back. These can only be brought back with extremely expensive potions that bring back 1 life point at a time, and you can't buy them exclusively in the last generation. You can buy them every single time, but then you can't buy them on the last one anymore.
Fucking wow! The balls this game has.
The dick move balls, yeah. And then the conceit is specifically that the inheritance magic has run out. So this is it. This is your only chance now to beat the 7 heroes.
Fucking wow.
So previously, anytime you die, there's also a generation hop. Like you usually just want to restart your save.
Yeah.
But it'll do a generation hop, and you don't get to the last. It's not like every one of those is one of your limited number of lives. You only go to the last generation once you've beaten 5 heroes. So you can do that as many times as you want. So you'll go into a hero, die, and then think, nah, you know what? I'm just going to recruit into a party. It'll be stronger. And then put on that last generation. If you die, just go straight to the title screen. It's just like, oh.
Wow.
Oh, man. Oh, fuck. Oh, God, I'm so screwed. Oh, God. Oh, God, I have no chance.
That has to feel real good the first time.
It's a lot.
Yeah, like, that would be so much to take in. Like, oh, God. Like, this playthrough is probably fucked.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it was going to be played.
It's just not like a hard fail state like an XCOM would give you where they're like, hey, game's over, you fucked. This is more like, hey, you can struggle against it if you want, but you're probably fucked.
Yeah, you can go back, you can save at any point. You don't have save points, you can save anywhere. But yeah, it's you messed up. You didn't do it right. And if you start over, you'll probably have a better time. And I'm sure that's how it was played back before guides and everything.
Yeah.
Is that you just will get to this point and be like, well, I don't know what to do. And there's a bunch of systems I haven't really engaged with. Like, I've realized, like, I played in this very, like, myopic, dumb way because I'm bad at RPG systems anyway. So
I'm imagining this game is actually super easy. You just refuse to use magic or something.
So that's the way it's meant to be played, is that you play it a couple times and then get like a pretty good knowledge of all these different systems.
Right.
It's totally understandable ultimately. It's just so much for my little dumb pea brain to understand. As the one that played Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories and is like, this is the hardest game I've ever played. I don't understand. How did children beat this? I don't understand.
Yeah, like, this was a common video game. Like, this was not like an underground weird kind of thing. Like, this, like, anything coming out of Square at the time was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Like, this series...
And this one specifically is, like, beloved.
Yeah, this one is beloved.
Saga game. The gacha games specifically copy Romancing Saga 2 more than any of the other games. They love this one.
Like, it just astounds me that, like, my dumb brain is just like... My dumb brain shuts down when there is a slide puzzle. Right?
There's one of those in ours, too.
See? Done. Like, I just relayed this story on Twitter, and I'll relay it here. You see, I could be, like, sometimes I'm not in the mood for a puzzle, right? Like, and that happens to me a lot. Like, I'll get to a puzzle, and like, oh, no, crap. And so, that happened to me when I was playing Trace Memory 11 years ago. I got to a slide puzzle, and I just like, I don't want to. So, I did not play that game for 11 years. 2 months ago, I did that slide puzzle.
How was it?
It wasn't that hard. It was literally like 8 moves. I felt like a fucking idiot. Yeah, like, and there will be another moment, like, I quit a stream earlier this week, 20 minutes in, because I was like, I don't want to do a puzzle right now.
Did you even archive that stream, the 20
Nope.
minutes?
Nope. There's no evidence of it existing. So I could be like the fact that people played these games back in the day and that they completed them and that they're knowledgeable at them.
Mind-boggling.
It's
to me.
fucking crazy.
Like you paid $100 for this new Square RPG and it's your only game
For a year.
That has to be the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so antithetical to how we as a culture engage with games these days.
Well,
It's
like
so
I try
not
to
one
still live by that, at least with my one
Yeah.
game at a time lifestyle. I find that, like, yeah, I'm gonna get pissy and frustrated with games, but I don't let myself quit them very often. So,
Yeah.
like, if I get frustrated with something, I'll turn it off or something. But it's like, this is the game that I've locked into. Like, this is the one that I'm going to play. So, like, that's why, I think that I'm at least still trying to keep that kind of spirit alive with my whole one game at a time lifestyle.
Yeah, and why I'm trying to, ever since Phantasy Star 2, I had a bad time with it because I played it with maps.
Right,
And it
right.
just kind of castrated that whole experience.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying that, like, oh, I should have just played it and I would have had a good time. But I didn't have a good time trying to just get it done. Like,
Yeah.
this is an item on a checkbox.
Yeah,
that I
you're
want
just
done.
doing work. It's data
Yeah.
entry.
Exactly. So, RS2, the one thing you can say for just all the Saga games is that they are not trivialized by using a guide.
No, because
Oh my God.
there's so much shit and mechanics and randomness that can go wrong that there is no guide that can account for it.
There's no guide that can protect you.
Like, I have a Saga Frontier guide, and even that guide is very fucking vague with its instructions. Like, it's got maps, sure, but, like, when it comes to, like, boss strategy or character advancement, it's so wishy-washy.
Because that's the game.
Yeah.
Is Saga. Is just navigating those labyrinthine nightmare systems and then getting to these bosses that are just impossible.
Yes.
And you have no idea what you're supposed to do, and then you look up a guide, and then you maybe, after fucking with it a bunch, fudge your way through.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've finished every Saga game I've started at this point. I haven't, like, stonewalled on, except for RS1, which I only played a little bit of.
Right.
Like, I haven't stonewalled on any of them. Every time I've gotten to the final boss, I've won. Like, it's not, like, but every single time, I don't believe I will win.
Yeah. It's like going into the final boss in Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter. Like, I went into I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, exactly. Except Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter is, like, so clear for the most part.
Yeah,
with
like,
its
you know what you're
systems.
doing. Like, I know what will be the cause of me losing.
Mm-hmm. So it's very, like, that's sort of the difference with Saga and survival horror, is that in survival horror, you usually have a pretty good idea of where you fucked up.
Yeah.
That's not really true in Saga. You just, like
you might not have fucked up at all. It just the RNG got you.
But again, every single time I've gone to the end, beaten the boss. Most of the time I beat it without too much work. Like like Saga 1 and 2, I had pretty easy time. I think Romancing Saga 2, the first time I only took like 2 or 3 tries.
Mm-hmm.
This time it took me like 15. I think I grinded a lot more on the last time. It's hard to remember. It's kind of a blur. Because it was over the course of like 9 months.
Right.
Basically what it was that I had my magic spell that skipped the boss's turn. So I just wanted to get as far into the boss as I could without using any magic and without my characters dying, so I could start that and then just burn my 10 free turns.
And hope that carries you far enough.
So I restarted the fight like 15 times because those first 3 mini phases kept going so sour, so fast. And then I got the right one, and then I used QuickTime, and then I used it for 10 turns, and then I was like 3/4 through with the final boss, and then I was just kept taking turns while it was dealing these huge attacks to me, and then after like 3 turns I died without killing it, and then and then I did it again, restarted a bunch, got that good run going, and then that time I made it all the way through. When it happened, when that boss does the start, boom, like death animation starts, and it's just, you'll really feel it in Saga. It's so cool too, because as the boss dies, it's just like fading into the dirt, like it does in Final Fantasy games.
Like Final Fantasy games, yeah.
But all the characters, one at a time, just kind of are looking at the boss, and then they turn and kind of walk away, and then as the boss is dying, and then your character starts walking off, turns back for a second, and then just walks off. It feels very like, it's very badass.
It's like a good moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's unlike the other Saga games. It's the final boss isn't just this random bullshit. It's not like, oh, here's a computer we introduced 10 minutes ago. Like Saga Frontier.
Yeah, didn't get Ultimatia'd. You didn't get Ultimatia'd.
Yeah. Final Fantasy Legend 1 and 2. It's just like, oh, yeah, I'm the final boss. Come at me. I'm really, really, really hard. And then Romancing Saga 2, though, it's all the bosses. It's the 7 bosses you've been fighting throughout the whole game. And all 7 of them get a turn every single round. It's great.
Oh.
God!
I think so. I'm not sure. It's all a little muddy. So, that's my Romancing Saga 2 experience. I'm very excited for 3. I immediately booted up Alliance Alive again, because I was like, I need more of that energy in my life.
Yeah.
I really like Saga still.
This game was a SNES game originally, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wonder what the release of it was like in Japan, if there were like guides in Famitsu or something, like trying to help people out, or if they were all going in blind.
This has to be like a major schoolyard game of like there being a community around this, because that's the only reason I can think of where it would be as beloved as it is, considering how weird it is.
Like
this was an experience. This was a zeitgeist.
A zeitgeist. That moment, like where, like I kind of think we caught a little bit of that when we all did Fez together. Like like that kind of shit. Like obviously, kind of means a little more in the end when you have other people experiencing it.
Because like you're acting like, oh, NES games, like you had to play them with no guides or anything, and I'm just thinking like Nintendo Power would always have maps and stuff, and like tips and tricks, or the Nintendo hint line. Like people accuse of Castlevania 2 of being like just fodder for that. Of like you'd never beat that game without a guide, really telling you. So I have to imagine they tried.
There was a stuff around this game at the time.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about. I mean, I still with this game, I tried to spend like the first 10 hours or so not doing that. I just kind of played, and it has a nice pace to it if you do that, because you're just doing quests and expanding the empire. You get to watch the map fill in with color as you collect more, as you gain more territories, which is just kind of pleasing. You know, you're filling in the map. This is nice.
It's a modern video game.
Exactly.
Make the numbers go bigger.
Make them bigger.
And the thing with Romancing Saga is that it's usually, they're not too obtuse with like event flagging stuff, in my experience. In terms of individual quests,
it's like, more the system bullshit.
It's more the how do I beat this boss? How do I do the character progression? And then how do I trigger quests to begin with? Like, because it's still very non-linear. But like, it doesn't have especially in Saga Frontier, there was very little like, what am I supposed to do to progress the story? I don't understand. It was more, oh god, how am I gonna progress these characters to be strong enough and to not get fucked at the end? Because once in Saga Frontier, in the robot route, once you go to the final, the point of no return is like 2 hours before the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh god. That's actually a big thing about why Western fans, a lot of them did really gel with Saga Frontier. Part of that is that the games are like 8 hours long instead of 20.
Yeah.
So that makes all of this more digestible when it's not, I lost a 20-hour game. I lost an 8-hour game. Okay, that's
Yeah.
a little more reasonable. But yeah, love Saga. Really excited for 3. I'm really excited to not have to re-equip a new party every hour and a half. Because boy, that got taxing.
I thought Game of the Year Trails 3rd made you do that, though.
Yeah, it sure did. I was playing it at the same time as Romancing Saga 2.
God.
So much menu.
Man, there's so much menu and equipping in Xenoblade if you want to engage with that.
God. Wait till XC2. Oh, man, that game's got some menus.
I think I got through that game because I learned to just embrace that stuff from Trails, where, like, I would be going in there tweaking all of my, like, gem equips before, like, certain hard bosses. Just like, I'm just gonna fucking live in the micromanage right now.
Just embrace it, because it's going to be a vital part of the experience.
Yeah, I get that. So, that's one thing I said at the very end, was, like, I kept going on about how miserably obtuse all these systems were. I don't think that's, like, the intent. I think it all makes sense in this dude's head, and I just
Obviously.
don't think...
But there's literal randomness to it, right?
Yeah, and I think the randomness makes sense to him in his head, as like, okay, and we're going to do a little dice roll on this, and that's the game. He likes board games a lot, he likes tabletop games.
I was going to say D&D does have a lot of random.
So, I think it all makes sense. I don't think he's setting out to make Kawazu. I don't think he's setting out to make, like, deliberately... like, cruel games.
Someone needs to tell this guy.
I think he just is like, I'm gonna make the game I want to fucking make, and anyone is free to come along for the ride if they want. Oh my god, I've got money to make 10 of these. This doesn't make sense. This seems like a computer error in capitalism, but okay. I'll keep going. Wow, we're localizing them 20 years later. Huh.
Weird! Where did all that fucking money come from?
It just happens. It's very encouraging. Honestly.
Like, you got weird shit like Moon being localized now, okay? Like, nothing is off the table at this point, I don't think.
It makes me very happy.
Yeah,
and and Link's Awakening, like an old Game Boy game, just got a big remake, like that. Now a bunch of people are going to get to experience, like one of Nintendo's best stories for the first time. That's really cool.
Yeah, like more games to more people.
Absolutely. So that makes me happy. Romancing Saga makes me happy. I'm very happy, excited for 3, and I'm excited for Scarlet Grace. Polly.
Yo.
Going out of order. What else do you got?
Whoa, just shaking it up, huh?
Motherfucker.
Damn. Look at this guy, just throwing a wrench into fucking everything. Jesus. Whoa. Damn, caught me off guard. I'm slipping. Jesus Christ. I'm starting to think John runs this podcast now.
I'm the host now.
John's just coming in. He's just going to take over from now on. That's it. Like, it's not mine anymore.
I'm pretty sure Polly hasn't been playing anything though. So
no, nothing important. I mean, how do you guys feel about like non-linear detective stories where you just like dive into people's dreams? That's pretty boring, right? Pretty standard fare cookie cutter stuff.
Oh, you playing Psychonauts?
Yes, playing Psychonauts 2. I got into the beta. Tim Schafer personally sent me an email and said, I know that you're my biggest fan and that we're best friends. So
he's
I thought
a big fan of you, actually.
Yeah, he's like, it's really that. I mean, look, I gotta be modest here, okay? Like, I can't. Like, I don't want to throw him out like that.
On this podcast.
You know how it goes. Kotaro Uchikoshi released, and his team that created Zero Escape and Spike Chunsoft released The Somnium Files, which is, man, that's a weird name. Boy,
it really is. This game was kind of not on my radar because of the name. I was just like, what is that thing?
Yeah.
And then I heard who wrote it, and I was like, oh, okay.
It makes total sense why. But I figure that, okay, like, when you look at the production value that is in this thing, and how, like, it's probably the most expensive looking Spike Chunsoft endeavor, I think, since DRV3. When you think of that and the fact that they might want this to sell well, you think they might. You guys sure you don't want to think about that name a little bit? We could like Dream Detective.
Dream Detective.
So simple.
Eyeball guy.
Soul Suspect.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a,
That one's taking shit. Ghost Detective or Ghost Trick.
Ghost Trick. Dream Drop Distance. No.
Oh God.
I have the Somnium Files. I've been actually streaming this one since it came out. I've not experienced a narrative game in this fashion, especially blind. So I've been kind of just streaming this one blind and carrying a small audience along with me the whole time. And like I said, it is basically, you boil it down to its roughest aspects. It's a non-linear detective story where you dive into people's dreams. It's presented as a visual novel, and then they're largely a visual novel. Like, there are probably swaths of an hour to 2.5 hours at a time where you're just kind of going through conversations with people a lot. And that's what a lot of his games do anyway. Like, Zero Escape games, like, the puzzles are about 20% of that experience in every game. So, this one deals with the idea of diving into dreams. Stars a detective who is assigned to a case where a body is found and it is missing its left eye. And it's just a very shocking way to kind of jumpstart a video game.
That's actually how Judgment starts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The same thing?
It's a killer who takes out his victim's eyes.
Oh, that's weird.
The game was called Judge Eyes in Japan.
Wow, this game's called Eye.
Yeah,
Here,
I got that.
everywhere. This game has a lot to do with eyes. He has a character who assists him, who is his left eyeball. Her name is Iba. She is an AI. Her full designation is Eyeball.
God.
Spelled AI-ball. And she is his left eye. She has a number of functions that come into play in the story, like X-ray, thermal vision, night vision. It does whatever the story needs it to do. And it also is a cute little anime mascot character, as well as a cute anime girl. So
Just hitting all those good bases.
It hits all the bases that a character like that needs to. And this is like Uchikoshi doing what he do. It is a slow, unraveling mystery that has multiple branches all over the fucking place, and you're going to go down a path, and it's going to be like, locked, motherfucker. So you've got to use information gained from another point of the flowchart to probably understand what's going on in another part of the story. The structure is not 100% Zero Escape, because the flowchart works a little differently, and I think that's kind of his shit right now is contextualizing a flowchart. And he's done that for his last 3 games, and that's kind of what's going on here. I don't know what the trick is yet, or if there is a trick, because I've not completed this game yet. I'm probably about 60% through it, if I had to guess, 60-70%. But yeah, like, it's just kind of like, it's doing that thing that he do, and it's pushing all the right buttons. It's got great characters. Like, I have not met a character that I dislike engaging with at all, because they're very well written, they're very quirky. The game's got a tone, let's just say, where it's got that dry, serious, Zero Escape stuff where there's not a lot of levity. Characters are serious pretty much all the time. But it manages to mix in all the absurdity that Danganronpa has, where there's just non sequitur humor and absurdist humor all over the fucking place, and they fully commit to so many jokes that are like visual and verbal that it's ridiculous.
Especially considering it's localized.
Especially considering the amount of stuff that likely needed to be localized. And I think that this game's Japanese and English script were written in tandem, so they were probably informing each other, all the time on these kinds of things. But there's so much gag humor that has been localized well. Like, you can tell that, like, there was probably a Japanese joke there,
that would not work here, and somebody who's really, really good smoothed that out so well that I hardly fucking noticed that it was a weird non sequitur. This is a game where when you go to a new area, every time, search everything, because there's Easter eggs everywhere. Like, there are just little one-off conversations that happen all the time. They're great. They're like, this game, there's so much video evidence of me laughing out loud at this game's humor. Like that it's I think it's undeniable that this game is top-notch fucking funny. But it also knows when to kind of shift gears and, all right, we're going into serious mode, and Polly's going to have to employ a mute button for the stream because shit got too real and we needed to make sure nobody heard anything. There are no witnesses.
Polly too badass to quiet on stream.
Ooh, man. Yeah, we hit some shit last night that was just like, oh god, no, I've dealt with this and it sucks. Stop portraying it so well, too. Oh no. It hurts so bad. And I'm not done with that path yet either.
Uh-oh.
There's probably still more.
Very quiet stream coming up.
Yeah, very quiet. And probably after this podcast is edited, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I'm like in the very... I've never really dealt with this before because I honestly don't watch very many streams. I'm in that like very delicate period of like, when do I want to duck out? When do I want to stop watching the streams? Because I will probably want to play this.
I'm not going to lie, mine was like 20 minutes in. I was like, okay, bye. Sorry,
yeah. Like,
I think it's just I haven't had this good a time just watching streams before or in a while, so I'm just like, but I want to keep going, but I also want to play this.
It's hard when it's a game you actually want to play.
Yeah. I think that there's probably enough holes in the plot right now that you haven't seen that, like, maybe if you watch one or two more streams, it ain't gonna hurt you, but I think we are gonna start hitting, like, the big shit real soon. Yeah,
what I'm probably gonna just do is play more House of Bottom Morgana after this.
Yeah, like that's a good visual novel. That's a very good visual novel. But like this game is just knocking it out of the park in all regards. Like the writing is just, man, the writing's so fucking good, and the voice actors, the English cast, I'm using the English cast. It's absolutely perfect. Like they are so goddamn, like everything is sold very well. Like there's not an actor in this game that I don't believe. There's not an actor in this game that does not fit the role that they were assigned. There's not a reading that I have run into where I thought maybe you should have given that another read. And this game is so fucking, like, it's so vital that these characters work, especially Dante and Iba, who are like the detective and the AI. These two characters need to work. Their chemistry needs to sound natural, and it does, because they're always kind of poking back and forth at one another, and there's this really sweet and warm chemistry where these two can like bounce some real heavy jokes off of one another, and it still feels like these two characters are just being honest and really do care about each other. And it's just like there's just so much of that little nuance that I'm catching in the vocal performances, and just the idea of being able to play with dreams as your puzzle instead of like puzzles that may not feel like they're really connected to the story, that may be just puzzles for the sake of needing puzzles in a puzzle room. Like the Somniums they're less complicated than the escape rooms in Zero Escape, but they can do a lot more with them creatively just because it's the world of dreams, and you can get very fucking abstract with the idea. And I've only been tripped up once by it, and of course it was a fucking door maze. The fucking second Somnium I had to do was a goddamn... It was a goddamn door maze, and I was so mad when I figured it out. But everything else is just like there's a video gamey part of it where you only get 6 minutes in the Somnium. Time stops when you stop. Time stops when you're making decisions and things like that. So it's not too heavy. And they have like a number system there where like you can make actions take less amount of time than they're listed to take and things like that. It doesn't get too complicated with that stuff. I think it would probably be fine without it. As somebody that likes to explore all of the options and things like this, though, I think that kind of, like, the time limit kind of hampers that, because...
Yeah, I saw that on the stream. It wasn't there the first time, so I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, the first Somnium you do doesn't have a time limit.
Mm.
And there's probably a reason for that, I think, storyline-wise, weirdly enough, but... when you do Somniums, you get 6 minutes, and, like, every action you take and moving around costs time. And, like, if you fail to do something within the time limit, you get sent back to a checkpoint. You have a certain number of retries until you have to do the Somnium all over. And they're not that long, which is fine. And you can hold, like, right trigger to zoom through the parts you've already seen. But like as somebody that likes to poke around at everything, like every time I go to a new area, I poke around for new conversation Easter eggs and stuff because it's fun. Like there are so many one-off hilarious stupid jokes in the Somniums themselves by just making Iba do really stupid shit that takes up time. But you can't, like, if you want to effectively always do the Somnium right, you can't always stop and do those things and explore those options. So I'm hoping, like, if this, like, becomes a series, like, maybe in the future we can just, like, nix the time limit part and just let people play around in the world of a dream, man. Maybe just go a little more abstract with it. But yeah.
Like that.
But, like, it's a cool concept. Like, obviously diving into people's dreams and their minds is, like, it's not, like, a new, unusual concept or anything for sci-fi because, like, Ghost in the Shell has had similar shit. And all of that, like there's a lot of sci-fi you can find that has invested in this idea of diving into dreams and shit, right? Like I know that. So, like this is putting its own play on that. It's doing it with a cast of characters and a story that I feel really fucking attached to. I think that as far as Spike Chunsoft games go, this is like immediately like the quickest I have immediately fallen in love with one of their stories was just like like it was literally like 30 minutes into the game and I was just like, I'm sold, I'm there already. Whereas like the first Zero Escape, it took me a while to really dial into that. Danganronpa, it took like maybe till the second, third trial for me to really dial in, whereas this game is just, oh, I'm there, I'm here for what this game is putting down. Like,
I think I was there at the first stream, and I was just like, yeah, it was just the joy of you discovering like the vibe of that game.
Yeah, like the first thing that I did that made me fucking die was that you're in a Somnium with Iba, and like there's a plant, and there's a lot of things you can do with it, and I was just like, I don't know, fucking smell it. So she goes to smell it, keeps trying to smell it, and because it's a dream, the plant turns small and she sucks it up her nose. And then she gets thrown back across the room. And it's just like, it doesn't make sense, but it's funny as fuck, and they animate it well. And like all the, like, man, like this game's gotta sell well because the production values are off the charts. Like like I said, it's the most expensive Spike Chunsoft game I've ever seen. And like the music is on point, like the character designs are great. There's like a lot of money went into this, and thankfully I know that at least 4 people have bought the game from having seen me stream it. So I mean, yeah, it's just 4 copies, but hey, that's 4 more people that are going to get to experience a really fucking cool thing.
Cool.
Expect this game on my Game of the Year list, probably.
Oh, you
just,
think so?
just saying, it's probably going to be there at some point. This game's real fucking good. I will obviously probably be talking about it next time because I'm pretty sure I'll have finished it by then. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I have basically nothing but the highest confidence that this game's basically going to nail the landing with as strong as it's been so far.
Yeah, you're just especially dialed into kind of that Uchikoshi vibe anyway.
Yeah, like this dude writes for me.
You love Zero Time Dilemma, you love PLR,
Yeah, this dude...
Probably the one person sticking up for Zero Time Dilemma.
Yeah. The Zero Time Dilemma Task Force is just me. Yeah, but yeah, this is landing really good so far. And like, hey, like if you were if you were at all curious, like I've cataloged my streams, like they're archived here and on YouTube. If you're curious at all, hop in there and have a look.
Nice.
All right. So that's me for this podcast. How about you, Rhett?
I only just realized till the end there that somnium is actually an actual word for
Yeah,
dream.
yeah, like,
I just
like, and also
I got John though.
insomnia. Like, come on, somnium is like, yeah, it's tied to
Insomnia.
Yeah.
You know. I was like, I kind of just thought it was a random, sci-fi Google-gook term or something. Technobabble, that's the word I'm thinking of.
Technobabble,
Like,
yeah.
They just made something up that sounded cool, and then, it's a real word. That's better.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Tsuchikoshi, he's good at babble. He's real good at writing babble, because the game's got that shit too. It's like, oh yeah, in case you were wondering if these characters were into philosophy or not.
Oh.
In case you wondered if these characters were into theoretical physics or not.
Oh, boy.
It's like that childhood book series about the bears with the different names.
Oh my god.
Oh.
That's so good. He actually included that.
Oh, this is interesting.
Uchikochi is actually really cool too. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a few exchanges with him on Facebook and the like, and he's just always been super nice. Like, he really
so cool.
he really seems to like know that his fan base like really love his work, and he like embraces them back. And I think that, like, as best as he can with the language barrier, of course.
Yeah.
But he seems to really know like the value that his work has in people's lives, and like the way that they enjoy it and interact with it. So yeah, it's really cool. And the Somnium Files is real good. Okay,
Having
right.
played 999 now,
Uh-huh.
as soon as they mention any like philosophical stuff, I'm gonna be like, this is all gonna be relevant. This isn't it?
Of course.
Because 999 brings up some pretty crazy concepts and then pays off like all of it.
Yep.
So I just wonder if they can kind of pull that trick again.
You get to fucking VLR is like, yo, you want to talk about termites for 20 minutes? Now it's gonna be relevant. But it is though.
Is it?
Yep.
God, I kind of don't remember.
The
Anyway,
snail walking down the street.
Oh my god.
everyone gets so mad about that.
Fuck snails.
That's the real message of that series.
It is. Okay. Brett.
Rat.
Hi.
How's it going? Got
So I
something
played a
around
game.
got something around the show out with?
I've got something to end things out with. This might be a little bit long. So, Polly, I'm not sure how I want to introduce this one. What are some series you think of when you think of the Nintendo DS?
The Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
Super Mario.
Ghost Trick.
Uh-huh.
Fire Emblem.
Okay, that's pretty good. Are there any... Was there a Fire Emblem on the regular DS?
Yeah.
Yes. There are two, only one of them came
Yeah,
out.
Advance
This is before
Wars.
I, literally, basically... That series didn't exist to me until Awakening.
Yeah. It didn't exist to most people, so it's okay.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Are there any, big trilogies on the DS, though, that you are relatively fond of?
Are there what?
The puzzle one.
A trilogy.
Professor Layton.
Okay, this Professor Layton.
Well, they did do a re-release. They were previously on the Game Boy Advance, but this trilogy also appeared on the DS, where it gained its popularity as the Phoenix Wright series.
Yeah, that's very good. John said the other one first, though. I've got a game that satisfies both of you.
Oh boy, wait, they did one that's like both of them?
Both of them.
On the same game?
In the same game. I played Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
This thing has always looked like the most fucking bizarre. How the fuck did this happen?
I don't know how it happened. It took 2 years to get localized.
I can see that. Those games are always slow to localize anyway, so...
I think the Layton ones are relatively quick, and the Ace Attorney ones are, pretty slow or never.
Or never.
Yeah. This is a game that I saw this years and years ago. It came out in 2012, I think, and then got 2 years to get localized. I told myself a long time ago, one day I'm going to buy a 3DS for that game.
Wow.
And then here I am 5 years later. Guess what I did?
Yo!
I bought a 3DS for that game.
Really? I thought that that's not the game I thought you bought it for.
It was a highly contributing factor, let's say. Like
I didn't even know that game was like one that you really thought about. I never really heard you talk about it.
Always been thinking about this game and just this bizarre combo. So here's the other thing about this game, though. It's Professor Layton and Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright.
Right.
But they're also doing a whole thing where they're interrogating witches and going on witch hunts and stuff. So it's also kind of got that Umineko vibe, and like that's right around the time when we were reading Umineko.
What in the world?
So let's go back to the start of this game.
Okay.
Professor. So the first chapter, Professor Layton meets this mysterious girl, and she's kind of out of place, and they do some puzzles, and then they lose track of her.
Oh no!
And then during that night, she gets accused of like theft and burglary, and she goes on trial.
Oh
and
shit!
And turns out Phoenix Wright happens to be visiting London right then.
Wow, that's real convenient.
And very conveniently ends up assigned as her defender.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just visit a country and be a defense attorney.
I mean, they do a whole thing of he's doing like some lawyer exchange program.
Right.
And it's even funny when they talk, like, because they're localizing it, so he's from America now, and like in a weird way that probably makes this one make way more sense than it would be if everybody was speaking Japanese.
Was from Japan, yeah.
Yeah. God, there's a line in the ending where Layton is like, and it's thanks to our friends from across the Atlantic. And I'm like, But anyway, so basically this is an Ace Attorney game where instead of the investigation portions, which are kind of the bad parts of those games,
yeah,
you're more focused on doing puzzles as Professor Layton and exploring as him.
Like the bad parts of those games.
No,
I'm kidding. I like the puzzles. I like the puzzles in Professor Layton.
You don't like puzzles. You can't fool me. But, I mean, so that's the thing. It's like, that's kind of the all of Professor Layton games. Or so I thought. So, basically, you defend this girl, and then some stuff happens. And then all these characters find themselves transported to another world. It's an isekai.
Oh, no! No!
They find themselves in, like, this medieval town where magic is real, and they are all super gung-ho for putting witches on trials and burning them alive.
Yeah!
And it's not very long until this girl you're with is accused of being a witch herself.
Oh, of course.
So you've got another trial now, and...
My God.
So the second trial of this game is my favorite part of the whole thing. Like, the opening scene of Phoenix walking into court, you just see this girl up in this cage screaming, I'm not a witch, I'm not a witch, and they drop her in the fire.
Oh,
whoa!
Man.
It, like, goes real hard, and, like, this game goes kind of dark in a way that neither of these series are that much.
Like, those games always flirt with it because, I mean, death is a central theme in pretty much every Phoenix Wright case, but...
The other thing is, I was thinking, though, I'm pretty sure, like, everyone you convict in the Ace Attorney games is put to death if they're a murderer.
I'm pretty sure that's what I read years ago.
But they never
may
really
have retconned that.
Oh.
I think they retconned that in more recent games, though.
That's unfortunate. Because they're definitely doing it in this one.
Yep!
So the second trial is very good, because you're having to defend this girl of being a witch, and then they're introducing... So what I like about this game is that they're introducing systems that couldn't really happen in a proper Ace Attorney game.
Right.
Because he's having to use, like, this magic spell book and present it as evidence of, like, why someone could or couldn't cast a particular spell, which is just wild. And the other thing is that because this is kind of this uncivilized, or not, medieval town, they're not questioning witnesses one at a time. They ain't got time for that.
No.
They are putting every witness they have on the stage at the same time.
That's real crazy.
So you can bounce between them, and there's systems of, like, presenting one witness's evidence or statements as evidence against another one.
This sounds cool, actually.
It is actually really cool. Like, they change things up, like, because those games, pretty standard gameplay wise. I mean,
Yeah, like
Apollo-
Danganronpa 3
I've only-
had a similar,
Yeah.
like that crosstalk mechanic where it would be
Yeah.
like 4 people arguing at the same time.
there's one trial later in this one where there are 10 witnesses at the same time,
Oh.
and it's just fucking chaos.
God!
So they immediately push it to like its natural breaking point of like this is cannot keep going,
Yeah.
because they're each giving one statement and it just keeps going, because then you can press all of them and then
Oh no, it just spirals into
it
endless
spirals into
pressing.
nonsense, because sometimes they're like you can't always basically if someone says something that's kind of questionable to the others, they'll kind of put an exclamation over their head. So there was one that like 4 of the 10 go, huh?
What?
And then so you can jump over to them, and then but then the problem is then you have to read their thing, and if it's not relevant, you have to start the press over and then go back to that point. So it's a lot of reading,
Yeah.
which you would expect from an Ace Attorney game.
Yeah.
I think the overall problem with this game, though, is that it primarily operates on Professor Layton logic, which is batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah, like Layton's story, like even if Phoenix Wright's stories are fucking bonkers, they still feel
Yeah.
more grounded. Whereas Layton's
Yeah.
stories, like, yo, here's a city built out of all robots.
Yeah,
How did a
that's
person
that's-
do that?
That's the one I was going to say. We have to spoil the first game of like,
Oh
because
god, I forgot that.
that
That was a good
kind of
twist.
the first game kind of became a meme for a while because of that twist at the end. Like that game was kind of a zeitgeist moment, I think, and then
Yeah.
the twist at the end of that game where literally every NPC is a robot was so freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
That it kind of broke that game for people.
It broke that game, but it basically set the fucking tone for the series. Like,
It
you
set the
always
tone for
know
the
that, like,
series.
something is going to be fucking bananas at the end.
Yeah, so that's what's weird about this game is like Phoenix is trying to argue logic in a world
You
that
can't do that!
that doesn't really make sense if you apply any thought to it. Like there's one part where like part of the trick was that 2 spells have a similar name, where he's talking about the spell gold ore turns something into gold, but the spell go door makes a portal.
Oh,
And it's just
no.
like, it's really kind of contrived. But like, God, the moment at the end of the second trial where, hey, they found a witch. And they get to execute her.
Yay!
Just ripped my heart out. And I
That's
was like, oh my,
really fucked!
yeah, it's like, oh my God, is this game like actually super amazing? And then it kind of
Weasels
falls
out of
apart,
it.
maybe. Like, because it has to explain every last thing. Boy, does the 4th trial. Like, I was texting you last night about, like, I've stood up and shouted, what the fuck, like 7 times at this game in the last hour. Because there's 4 trials. The 3rd one is kind of a bit more meandering. Like, basically, there's a point in the story where you go, well, okay, you're gonna have to retcon some stuff here.
Yeah.
Because you've got Professor Layton, Phoenix Wright, and their partners, Maya and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
There's a status quo that kind of has to be maintained there.
Yeah.
When one of them dies, you know some bullshit's up.
Yeah, some bullshit. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's so basically something happens, and I'm like, well, okay, you're obviously not going to actually commit to this.
You're
because
not
it's a friggin-
committing to that.
It's
Never.
a friggin' spin-off.
Yeah.
You can't kill a main character like that. So you know there's gonna be some bullshit.
Yeah.
And then so there's a huge stretch of just puzzle and exploring stuff before the 4th trial.
Mm-hmm.
So it's building up like, what does this mean? What does this mean? For like a couple hours. And this is a pretty long game. It's like 32 hours or so.
Wow, that's meaty.
Yeah. So there's a huge amount of build-up before the 4th trial, and then the 4th trial is just a torrent of oh what the fuck moments.
Oh no.
And I've kind of settled on it now and been like, well, it's all explained. It's just late in games, just say a thing can be true, and you just gotta go.
Yeah,
okay.
you just gotta go. Okay.
You just gotta go. Okay. So it's great in its ridiculousness. It certainly goes, which is a theme that we've mentioned. Stuff going hard at the end.
So I've been giving
Holy shit!
I've been giving the latter day Phoenix Wright games a thought.
Yeah.
I'm checking those out soon. Do you think I should add this to my list, or do you think that this probably wouldn't click for me?
I don't know, honestly. It depends how much of the latent stuff you'd like. And
Right.
The weird thing about this was I thought, I really like this game. I think I may be good on these series, though. Because I've played the first 4 of both of them, so it's fun having a nice return after, 6 or 7 years.
When I started playing Danganronpa, I never looked back at Phoenix Wright, but
there's that too.
But recently, it's just I kind of want to give Spirit of Justice and Dual Destinies a look, at least.
Yeah.
Guess who's watching that witch execution?
Oh, jeez, John.
It's not bad.
How many thumbs up do you give it, John?
I'll give it 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
There's a couple very good looks.
Jetstorm just
It's
played.
very sad and very scary. It's good.
Jetstorm just played Phoenix Wright 3 last year. Man,
nice.
what I would not give to have my first experience with that game again. Because, man, that game goes fucking hard the whole way. It's so good.
I'm excited.
What I will say about this one is, in Phoenix Wright games, there's kind of the first trial, and then there's the ending.
Yeah.
And there's kind of some stuff in the middle that isn't really relevant. They're just kind of, like the clown one in, 2 or something.
Woof. The circus fucking... Ugh.
Yeah. In this game, everything kind of flows from one to the other. It's all consistent and meaningful in the end.
Right.
And that's nice.
That's always good. I think they're always good at doing that, too.
Yeah. I think my problem is, I've never really heard people say much good about Ace Attorney 5 and 6.
I just don't hear people talk about them much because, Dual Destinies was released digitally only.
People kind of didn't like that one.
That was, the big hubbub about that one. And that, I've heard that maybe it's a little boring. But, Spirit of Justice also looks like it's kind of wait a minute, what are you doing? That's weird. Because they're going to, I believe, Mia Fey's country to do law, and it's mystical and shit. So it sounds like it's kind of taking. It sounds like it's taking notes from this, or these 2 games were in development close to each other, or inspired one another somehow.
I have honestly no idea.
Yeah, I have not. Like I said, I've just done basic surface ass reading, and that's it.
Because I was trying to look at the release dates last night, but because this game took so long to get localized, it's kind of weird in the placement. But they fucking pumped out those latent games so quickly.
Oh yeah.
I think this came out either before 6 or right after 6.
Mm-hmm.
God.
This wasn't the big return of him on the 3DS. It was either the last or second last one.
Yeah.
But on the Phoenix Wright side, I think they did wait for a bit, so this might have been the first one for him.
Yeah.
And I think that was in Japan. I think Dual Destinies might have ended up coming out here first. Because of the 2-year gap.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Weird.
I thought it was a good game. It goes so bonkers at the end, though.
But we've established that we like bonkers.
I really like the witch killing. There's no other way to
There you
say
go.
it,
That is the quote of the podcast right there. I really like the witch killing.
It was putting stakes into these games that they couldn't commit to.
Yeah.
Right.
But also usually don't have stakes like that. The ending of this game made me think of 2 things particular. One of them is Danganronpa V3, even though this definitely came out way before that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was Umi Neko, just in a fuck everything, fuck the answers kind of way. Oh, Polly, I want to tell you some stuff about this game. So...
I'll let you know if I'm going to play it, and then
Okay.
I'll let you spill. But I haven't decided on it yet.
Yeah, I need to maybe figure out if people like Ace Attorney 5 and 6.
Yeah.
If I want to dive into those. But even then, right now, I feel content for a bit.
I've had enough people that I trust tell me that they enjoyed those games.
So
Okay.
I'm probably okay with going in myself.
Because it's so weird when like the trilogy gets remastered and everyone's just talking about the original 3 again. It's like,
yeah, and now, but then I see people wanting Apollo and the other two now. They want another re-release of those bundled together. So
that would be nice. Maybe I should see if they ever do that.
That would be very nice. But again, like the HD versions, they kind of fucked up a lot of the sprite work too, though.
Okay,
I
didn't want
to. What's the best way to play Ace Attorney 1 through 3 now?
on the DS.
On the DS, the HD collection, like it's good at getting the content across, but they fucked up a lot of the sprite work.
Mm-hmm.
I like them raw sprites, not like all smoothed out.
Like it's not even that; it's like there are missing frames of animation as well.
Oh, really?
Like they didn't do all of the characters' animations and stuff, so it's missing a lot of content.
That's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Like you think that's the whole thing of redrawing every sprite? Cause
yeah.
I will say the 3D models in this game actually look really good. Like it's cool the way they translate.
That's another thing that I've seen people complain about is that the model they didn't like the switch to models, but I think they actually look really good. They're pretty expressive.
Yeah.
Layton in 3D is weird.
Oh, yeah. He is, because that's the weirdest thing about this game is because the art style clash is pretty profound.
Yeah.
Like, so you've got these characters that just look kind of standard anime, and then these very, like, European comic characters. Like, you can tell,
like, there's a stark fucking difference. It's a stark fucking difference, and they did not give a shit.
I think it ultimately works. Like that main girl, Espella, that they're kind of protecting for the whole thing, is super anime looking.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest part about it is because you start the game playing as Layton, and like once it's so it's voiced at the very start, and then it moves over to boop, 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 like text sounds.
Yeah.
When she talks, she uses the exact Ace Attorney sound.
Oh
for her
wow,
talking.
that's good.
And it's the first time you've heard it in the whole game, and it just triggered something in me of like, oh, right. She's from that universe. I thought that was funny.
A Toho game used that sound, too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, no, the hot take police are coming to get John again.
Oh, jeez.
I'm trying to see which Ace Attorney games I have. The first one's $25 used. Ugh.
John, I'll let you borrow mine if you want to.
Honestly, that would be fabulous.
Yeah,
just give me that trilogy.
If you want to borrow all 3 of my DS games, I'll send them over. Not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I got
just let me know when you want. Okay, I'll send you 1 and 3 then.
Cool.
Just let me know when you want to do that. Just let me know when you want to do that, and we're good.
I will let you know. Thank you.
No problem.
The last thing about this game is apparently the Layton games always do kind of post-game updates over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently one of the newer ones, like 5 or 6, did 365 days of updates after the game came out.
What?
They added a puzzle every single day for a year.
Yeah. Like the one of the last ones that I bought. Shit, it was like the 3rd one, I think. Yeah, the 3rd game. It did. Puzzles for. I think it did puzzles for like 6 months.
Yeah, I looked in either 5 or 6 did a year.
Yeah, I did one of the. Yeah, because I did all of those. My cartridge still has those completed.
That's awesome. It's crazy though when it's like this game has 120 puzzles and then 365 DLCs.
Yeah, like that's
like Jesus.
That's pretty crazy.
So this game has 12 bonus episodes that were released bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And you have to beat the game first to unlock them at all because they all take place after the main story.
Right.
So I got a while left to go. I started the first one and didn't even finish it yet.
Wow, I thought that these would be
because those have puzzles in them.
Oh,
I think the trial stuff is all done, but there's still puzzles to be done.
I thought these would be like little 5-minute vignettes or something.
They're definitely longer. Come on, John. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm trying my best.
John's dying. Yeah, I love that. Like things are falling apart, and John's. I'm trying my best.
These seem like they might be somewhat meaty, but I'm gonna put those on kind of the lunch break queue.
Right.
Because I played like half of this game at home and half of it just on lunch breaks at work. Because it's on the 3DS and that's nice.
Yeah.
I felt so weird playing this game at home though. Just I've got this huge monitor, this huge TV, and here I am just hunched over the 3DS.
Right. Understandable.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like when I'm just laying in bed, I'm just like,
Yeah, like
oh,
that's
God,
typically
I
how
don't want
I.
to get up.
Yeah.
But see, like
I
I would
played-
end up. What I would end up doing is like laying in bed at like 8 p.m. and playing, and then
Yeah.
suddenly, wait a minute, it's fucking 2 in the morning. What happened?
I'm pretty sure I played like the entire original trilogy in bed.
Yeah, that's how Zero Escape worked for me. Is like I would just like, like I'm just laying in bed, 8 o'clock, just to play. Yeah, I'm gonna do a puzzle and do this a couple scenes. All right. Why is it 3:30 a.m.? Where did my time go? I literally jumped through time playing the Time video game. Hello, XSplit. Please run your XSplit broadcaster and enable output to virtual camera.
Yeah, have we been live for a while?
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't know why the Skype turned into that.
Okay.
No, the people are still in the chat.
Okay.
They're reacting to me linking the witch burning clip.
Next
Oh,
up.
jeez, nice spoilers, dude.
Burn the witch.
It's just what we talked about.
Burn the witch. Burn the witch.
The music in this game is real good too because it's orchestrated versions of
Ooh.
all the Phoenix Wright themes.
Ooh, that's good shit.
So that they really lean into kind of the theme.
Yeah.
And like making it feel different for him. Whereas for Layton, it's just, I'm in a curious village. Haven't done this for like 3 games before.
Oh, this makes sense.
This is quite curious.
But yeah, his 3D model, when you get to it real up close, and the way he just has those little oval eyes, is pretty unsettling the more you think about it.
Yeah.
He looks like a Lego man.
Yeah, he looks like a Lego man,
Like,
or
it
just
really-
like he looks like Zune drew him.
Is
He's just a can.
oh my god. Can you kick the can?
You can kick the can.
I think we're done.
We're done. Thank you, everybody, for coming out for this episode of the podcast. As always, thank you for the bits. Thank you for any hosts or anything that might have come in as well. It's always very much appreciated. We always appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us. It has been a pleasure as always. John Thayer, where can the fine internet folks find you?
Farawaytimes.itch.io.
Ritz, where can I find you?
My website that's never been updated in like a year.
Still not happening, huh? Still not got that shit converted back or anything?
I tried so hard with Tumblr and it just didn't out.
Well, Tumblr got bought for like $50, so maybe I'll trust.
Maybe
them
you can
again.
just buy Tumblr and then
There you go.
That would have been the dream.
It's all fucking taken care of. No biggie. And of course, if you've got any questions, if you'd like to send them to us in audio form, please do so by sending an audio message to polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. And if you want to send us a normal text message, just send it to podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. And remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We're the only ones that love you.
You
damn it.
fucking fork.
Full circle!
That's comedy.
John, send me that link again. I want to see which one you actually posted.
Which burning?
All right.
Yeah, the one you posted in chat.
Okay,
I was not in chat.
I'm gonna shoot you guys over to After 5. He is currently playing East 1 and 2.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be good stuff. He is playing a bunch of East games for 9 days, all the way up to the release of East 9. So
God, is that happening?
yeah, East 9 is out in Japan.
Okay, yeah, it's not this. It's
Not here.
though.
No, if it was here,
That's Trails of Cold Steel. That's coming.
yeah,
out
Trails of
this
Cold
year.
Steel is out this year.
Okay,
That
I was
is
just
out.
Like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. We will catch you guys next time. Thanks again for stopping by. Much love to everybody. Stop by in like an hour or two. We're probably going to do a little bit more of the Somnium Files.